Welcome back, everyone, to the Paladins World Championship Hi-Rez Expo here at Dreamhack Atlanta 2018. Golden Boy on the desk with my buddy Kresnik. There he is. And we're joined by console expert, Mr. Console himself, the one, the only, Blue. It like hyped up, it like went really, really high, and then Blue. How's it going, bud?
It's going good.
Yeah?
I was watching that last set for PC. It's pretty exciting.
It was actually an incredible set. In case you are just joining us for the first time, maybe you're more of a console player. You weren't here for the PC matchups for the Paladins World Championship. You had Space Station Gaming going up against Team Envy in what was an incredible set. South America once again takes it the distance, goes to Game 7, but unfortunately fell. Let's take a look at the bracket, though. Thus far, as we are halfway through the day, transition into the bracket graphic for our console wars. And yesterday, in a shocking turn of events, we had Vex Gaming decimate Onslaught. You see the way I did that? Because decimate Onslaught, because Onslaught, right? No, Krez, you're not a fan? Okay, that's fine. Get them off the desk, people. All right, and then now you have on your PS4 side, Flashpoint versus Elevate. So let's just get down to this first. Yesterday, you said there were 3 players in this competition that were going to dictate how this event went, how the console wars panned out. That one player was Hilltime. He got eliminated with Onslaught, so he's a non-factor. Who are the 2 other players that are going to determine how this competition plays out?
So the next 2 players of those 3 would be the 2 flex players, one for Flashpoint and one for Elevate. For Elevate, it's Khanrad, who came from Xbox. He's mostly known as Emit Pain, and he's one of the best players in the world. He can legitimately play any character in this game at a high level. We saw him in the regular season. He started off as Frontline, playing the Fernando and the Khan, as his name suggests.
Oh, cheeky.
And then towards the middle of the season, they had him on Genos in a double support comp. He's running the damage, which he's running, you know, Luminary in some cases or Binary Star in the others. It depends on the case. And then towards the end of the season, we see him playing Xin and some hit scan characters as well. So this guy is just top notch. He's legitimately one of the best players in the world. And on the other side, you have Xrvii, who also came from Xbox. He teamed up actually with TheLgcy back during the last HRX qualifiers. Unfortunately, they fell to Vex, second place in quals. But Xrvii can also play pretty much anything. When they run the double support, he runs the Pip, he runs the damage Genos as well, and he plays mainly frontline. So you'll see him on that Khan sometimes, or you'll see him on the Inara. He can main tank and side tank, play the Ruckus as well, which is what is awesome for Flashpoint, because TheLgcy can do the same as well.
Now, both teams in this competition will represent different regions. Elevate will represent the North American region, whereas Flashpoint will represent the European region. And there's one thing that I do want to kind of point out here, right? Yesterday, me and Blue had a little dispute. You weren't here, bud. We had a little dispute, okay? Because he kept saying how PlayStation was the better platform, and then I was all like, nah, dog, Xbox, blah, 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 right? But then he just admitted that 2 of the better players in Paladins came from Xbox.
With the better controller.
With the better controller, right? So you admitted it yourself,
okay,
my friend. They switched to PlayStation. Why do they switch to PlayStation?
Okay, I'm gonna help you out here.
Because you're feeding them in plat? Is that why?
I'm gonna feed your Xbox ego here, okay? The entire Elevate roster transferred from Xbox.
Yeah, I know.
There's never been a true PS4 team to represent the NA region.
Okay.
And by that, for Valencia there was, and that was about it, but they had 2 substitutes that they brought with them, so that wasn't their complete roster. So there's never been a true PS4 NA team. It's always been either Xbox transfers or substitutes.
Yes. I'm feeling myself here. This is me feeling myself.
Well, Vex is your last hope for this weekend.
All right, well, we want to hear from the teams, from the coaches as well. We actually have one of the members of Flashpoint standing by. What's going on?
I'm standing here with Flashpoint's coach. Right now he's wearing blood red on black on slate black. Sir, you look absolutely ready for war.
Thank you. I can't wait.
You got your team mascot up here, but you also have your Hxrvii pin. So you're dressed to the nines. You got your merch on lockdown. Which of these 2 champions is actually going to be more important for you in this set? No leak, though. No leak.
No leak. I think really Andrew's going to be really good for our flex, but Makoa is always Makoa, and he's got this little hook right here in this cannon is going to be great. So
there's a lot of discussion on the desk yesterday about, you know, the PC meta versus the console meta, who can do what are we going to try and do. Vex Gaming just, you know, threw it all out the window and said, let's play what we are good at. What are your thoughts? And, you know, obviously as the coach, you got to do a lot of this studying and make a lot of these decisions about what your team wants to go for. So what are your thoughts on console metas versus PC metas?
PC metas have always been completely different from console, especially because of tracking being so much stronger on console. So we do like to do what we're comfortable with. We do mix in a few PC things when we see them because they are really good. So it is nice to just kind of mix it, put in what we know from tracking and stuff, and then use it ourselves. So.
Do you expect the drafts to be somewhat similar to yesterday, or are these two teams stylistically, because not only are you guys separated by your regions, but you're also separated by your platforms. Do we expect a very different type of meta to be coming out today versus yesterday?
Really, it's going to be kind of a toss-up. Vex played insanely well, so I think something around there where both teams are going to be playing a bit more comfortable to what they like and not try to pull out like what we've seen earlier today and yesterday. And I think it's going to be the same about.
Saw a little smirk on his eye. I liked what I'm hearing from this man here. Let's get it back over to the desk and get this set underway.
Thank you so much, Pretty Hair, and good to hear from the coach. Dressed to the nines, I totally agree. I'm wearing a little bit of the red as well, you know, and I'm feeling pretty dapper. I like the Androxus pin. Speaking of Androxus, so you wanted to talk about this. Why? What's going on there?
So Androxus is really strong in the meta right now, and I wanted to talk about it because we didn't see any Androxus yesterday, not in the bans and not in the picks. And I thought that was very interesting because Skeppy is one of the best Androxuses in the world, and unfortunately we didn't get to see him play him. He's top 3 Androxus in the world on console. The other 2 are in this set as well. It goes with SirJamesParker for Elevate, and on the Flashpoint side of things, it's GoodLad. So we might see some Androxus here. One thing I do want to say, since they talked about the meta between console and PC, is throw out everything you know about console meta right now and throw out everything you know about PC meta.
These two teams are going to do what they want.
These two teams are the ones who create the meta. GoodLad at the Springland basically created the Vivian meta, and everybody does it now. PC and console, they've been doing it for months.
Yeah, wow. I mean, that is a bold statement there. I'm looking forward to seeing how this one shakes out, but we heard from the Flashpoint coach. Now it's time to hear on the other side, the North American side for Elevate. We have Pretty Hair standing by with a member of Elevate.
Ludex here, the coach for Team Elevate. He's looking good, feeling good. Lights are a little bright, a little brighter. The pressure's on today, though, man. That's what this is all about. The lights are on, the cameras are here, the fans are here. The crowd is going to be loud. We've already had one upset today. Do you guys think you have confidence in what you can bring against Flashpoint, a team that has in the past won one of these big events?
Flashpoint, incredible team, incredible players. You know, there's no doubt there. But I have the 5 most talented, handsome gamers of all time. And you said confidence is something that we might have. Kind of wish there was a word out there that was more our style, that breaks past confidence. Because, like I said, 5 of the best men around, and I'm just happy to be here to stand behind them and do my stuff.
Looking good, feeling good, very confident. Now diving into this set, obviously, it's a matchup that you don't get to square off on very often, so give us your keys to victory and how you're going to defeat Flashpoint in this semifinal.
Okay, you're right. There isn't really much there. You know, we had our scrim partners here and there, but with them, it's kind of like what you hear in the hallway at school. You know, it's kind of, we're going to see how it goes, but as for strategy, I mean, it's kind of simple. You know, hold the control in your hand, push a few buttons here and there, and capture that point, and bada bing, bada boom, we're winners, you know?
We're out here to left click some heads. Confidence, nothing but from Elevate's coach. Let's get it back to the desk and get this one underway.
Thank you so much. I think you actually mean, you know, right trigger some heads. You know, I mean, yeah. that's. Come on, man. Okay, that guy, by the way, was dripping, oozing with confidence, and he's not only said that they had the 5 best players, they had the 5 best looking players as well. So looks coming into effect here. This is why console's awesome, by the way, because we have hashtag personality.
Can we switch to those player cams and verify this?
I know, right? We gotta kind of go through this.
I'll start taking down the data now.
So, you know, not a lot really to break down there from that interview with Ludex, but at the very least we can kind of take away that they're very confident going into this game.
They are. Ludex also told me Ludex also told me that Kyle Khanrad was a 6'9" powerhouse, and I guess I was standing next to him and I couldn't see him.
Yeah. Oh my word. Okay, so let's see. Map 1's going to be Jaguar Falls between Flashpoint and Elevate.
Kind
of excited.
Yeah, a map that we saw Dredge on
That's
PC.
right.
So and console, I believe.
Yes, we had Dredge.
So what's really interesting about this is the bans, Stone Keep and Serpent Beach from Elevate. Stone Keep was played every single week. That was Flashpoint's pick. They only got to pick one map every week because they 2-0'd everyone. So they picked Stone Keep every single week. So that's excellent homework being done there by Elevate.
Yeah, and that is exactly what you're going to need to do here. The players are ready to go into that draft phase, or the picks and bans. So let's see what we end up getting in just a little bit as they jump into the action. I'm very excited for this because you said, forget what you know. The meta doesn't matter here, Blue.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting.
This is going to be very interesting. Elevate now are going to go into the picks and bans alongside Flashpoint. Banning phase begins right now. Let's see what they go for here.
It's going to mirror the bans from the previous set. I mean, we're going to see strong hit scans with consistent damage getting banned out.
Well, Prosper is... yesterday I said Skeppy was the best Victor in the world. The second best Victor, arguably first, is Prosperlogic. So we're gonna maybe see some Victor bans, and if we get to see Victor, that'd be awesome. ElevateGR on the side of Elevate can also play the Victor fairly well.
Hey,
Top
Victor had a massive impact on Serpent Beach in that Space Station Gaming Envy game, right? We know the power of Victor, especially when you pocket Victor very well and protect him. Could do a lot of stuff here, but
and now that's a Victor with an aim assist.
Yeah,
that's beyond Super Victor.
Yeah, yes, exactly. That is actually Ultra Instinct Victor.
Yeah,
that is
exactly.
literally what that is.
Yeah, the game moves for you before you can even think about it.
Yes. Well, that's not entirely true. Well, I guess so,
I know.
right? Because if you're so good, if you're so good, you're just making the movements with your hands. Oh, okay. Kresnik, for you as a PC pro,
yes,
right? You competed at top level for a very long time here, but you see the console matchups. You recognize that they kind of do their own thing. What are your thoughts on the console Paladin scene? Like, do you like that it's unique in its own way?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I love watching unique matchups, and I have nothing but respect for people who can go out of their way and get better with, in my opinion, a much more difficult way to control the first-person shooter. I mean, it's not easy. Like, a mouse and keyboard, to me at least, was very natural, but a controller, it's like you're influencing your character where to go instead of like a direct one-to-one. It's hard, and I have nothing but respect for people who can push and make that work for them.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. You're not like Bitey over here talking trash yesterday.
Yeah, he thinks every console player is like subbed in him.
I was a console gamer for a long time. That could be why.
Hey, a lot of us come into it, being introduced to video games through consoles, right?
It's more mainstream.
Exactly,
yeah.
But what isn't mainstream are these bans here from what we saw on the PC side of things. Now we're being treated as something a little bit different. We got Talus and Sky, okay, and then Grok and Victor.
Okay, the Grok is a target ban against qtShoo from Elevate's side. They pull out some wonky strats, and they pull out Groks a lot. And that guy is the best Grok in the world on console.
Vivian locked in for Elevate. You had mentioned the importance of Vivian in the past, but Inara, a safe frontline pickup for Flashpoint.
Exactly. So Flashpoint with this pick here is brilliant. Yesterday we saw Dredgen and Vivian get picked at the same time, and then the Onslaught picked two big shield-heavy tanks against that. So I like Flashpoint going with the Inara here, saying, hey, we're going to take this tank because we know you're trying to force us to take some shield tanks.
Yeah, and with the Grok ban, Grok is really good into Inara. She's a free bounce a lot of the time, so having that, tracking, that simple tracking, easy pulses constantly getting removed, that makes the Inara even better.
I know it's not contextually appropriate, but Space Whales in the chat, people, because the tree is free. Praise be to the tree. Grover has been locked in. That is what's really good. I'm so happy right now.
Aren't those narwhals?
Doesn't matter. It's space whale.
It's a whale with a horn.
It's a space whale, but it's what I use to represent my love for Grover, all right? So I don't think I need any other logic on that one. Makoa going last.
Okay, so I told you they're going to pull out some wonky strats here. Here is the triple Frontline with a Grover, and then the Vivian solo damage. So the Vivian's going to be having a lot of pressure on her. This is going to push a lot.
The triple tank deathball with Grover, you might think, oh, it's not enough heals, but that doesn't matter. You're trying to end the fight as quickly as possible. It's not about the sustain. It's about you're shoving 3 tanks in their face, and now what are they going to do? They just can't overwhelm it. Drogo's counterpick.
A lot of HP real quick. Who do you think's got this game?
I honestly, on Jack Falls, I think Elevate takes this.
Elevate, all right.
I like the triple tank.
Okay, all right, we got a split desk here. This is going to be very interesting. Let's go ahead and get into the action. We got Gormizer and a person who I cannot believe is still standing. It's Rain Day.
Thanks, Golden Boy. It was a heck of a set if you just missed it. Game 7 stunner, but now we are here to cast one of my favorite things in the world, to cast console. They always bring the hype, they always bring the energy, they always bring something unique to the table, and that's what makes it fun. It's just you never know what you're going to get with these guys.
Unfortunately, we got triple Frontline, which is probably one of my least favorite metas to see, but it does work, and it does have something going for it. Luckily, they have Fernando, they have Makoa, they have a lot going for them. Thanks.
Custom made, by the way. Custom made for both of us here. Got to thank Hi-Rez popping the bill as we get into Jaguar Falls.
Full name.
Hi-Rez popping the bill. That's his birth certificate name. You gotta know that one if you try to work here. Prosperlogic going on with the dredge. I love Vox's kind of Disney Pirates of the Adventure reference there. And I think this is going to be an adventure for Elevate with the Makoa, with the Grover. Golden Boy gives them the shout for sure, but this dredge is going to be a monster on the objective, and can they deal with it, Gore, is going to be the question.
I mean, I just want to see if Dredge can actually win on Jaguar Falls. He gets played here a lot. He's actually had phenomenal performances, but it's whether or not he can make that difference. SirJamesParker, SJP is going to be able to get first blood. Woosh comes in with second blood, and it seems like it's going to be coming up all Elevate, at least at the beginning.
And Elevate are trying to elevate their performances over the last couple of lands, Gore. There's no doubt about it. These guys have wanted to be here in this position when they knew they could get to the finals of the world stage, and they have done so well thus far to hold back Flashpoint's deadly lineup with the Pirate of the Abyss. 66% counting onto the point, but Prosperlogic is not one to be doubted, my friends. He has made some stunning plays. I'm not sure if he's going to have time to make it now.
I mean, going double blaster on a map is definitely not something we've gotten to see, and Prosper playing a blaster is not something you get to see too often being able to come through. The man has impeccable aim, but right now it is not lending itself to their success. They just can't get control of that point. They're getting pushed out. Xrvii has no legs to stand on.
And Khanrad finds the kill. This is a big talking point. Blue gave him the credit of being one of, if not the best player in terms of flexibility in the world in Paladins and the console scene. And I think you could tell throughout the set he's going to be a big piece for this team to elevate themselves into the next round, into the finals coming up tomorrow. But 2 minutes left. They've got the objective push. The Grover's working, but it is an early game comp, so we expected it to work here, Gore.
I mean, with the way things are going, the best thing about triple Frontline is the fact that you can hold on to a point pretty well, right? You have 3 bodies that are going to be able to stand there and withstand the damage. Plus, Grover does put out some pretty good healing. You have nothing big to worry about. Vivian has been perfect on this map several times in the past. And when you get Ruckus on there as well, there's just so much ammo being thrown at you at any individual point in time. If you're someone like Drogoz, if you're Dredge, you don't really have a safe place to stand.
PS4 has been in an interesting spot, too. I mean, Prosperlogic and Flashpoint, it's worth mentioning, the boys from the European side of PS4's representation have been the only PS4 team to win a LAN. And this is a very important LAN that happened in the, I believe, the spring finals, Gore. Correct me if I'm wrong. Onslaught was able to take this summer LAN, and obviously going out early yesterday, but the Dragon Punch is primed and ready. iGoodlad finds a nice kill there. He's getting healed up, but it's not enough. SirJamesParker and ElevateGR find the kills.
All the ults coming out, Whirlwind Immortal, as well as the Ancient Rage popped just to make sure they stay alive, stay in it, and keep on pushing. A minute left, but the payload's coming around the last corner. Everything you would want if you are Elevate right here. And Flashpoint, they don't know where to go.
50 seconds left, but yeah, there's not enough time for it. This push is about to go in. again, especially if he can wait 4 seconds to get that Blossom off over to the left side. Makoa goes aggressive, finds the hook, but can't find the damage. And now Khanrad has to find the kill onto TheLgcy, who is holding on. The Kraken in the backside, but it's pushed successful. Prosper with a waste, and Khanrad just stares at him.
I'm having flashbacks, like you had said. Flashpoint, only PS4 team to take a full LAN win in the spring. But when they came through in the summer, they were thinking way too highly of themselves. They got knocked down a peg by Elevate almost immediately in that LAN, and it feels very similar to what we had going into the summer LAN. Flashpoint yesterday seemed very confident in their ability to play, although nothing can beat the confidence I felt from Elevate earlier. Ludex was absolutely in it. He believes his team, and right now they're backing it up.
You know, I keep saying they have to play that Drake song when they walk in. I mean, it's just their theme. It's such a good song. I don't know. You're not a fan of Drake? Fine. Fine. I'll let the rest of the world be, okay? Jeez. Louise, score starting off very feisty. It's probably the custom suit, I have to imagine.
Yours is custom too, by the way.
Oh, pointing fingers again? Unbelievable. Gore is feisty today, guys, as we can tell. Somebody get Katie over here and control this man. Nice seismic crash, that's for sure. And already with the scuttle damage, this is what you get dredged for, and it seems to be working out. Khanrad can't stand on this one.
I mean, just funneling into it, too. Everything you would want if you were Prosperlogic there comes true. Everybody steps into it. Shields are going to be the saving grace for Elevate to walk away. But when you lose Vivian, if you lose this Ruckus, you lose a lot of your pushing power and your control. That shield's going to go down. And even though you have the hook, you have Xrvii in your face right now doing whatever he can. The saving grace is that whirlwind, but Grover gets taken out.
Grover does get taken out, and here's the crack. Are you kidding me? He's got it again. Oh my God, that thing charges fast. And now this is where you don't want to be if you are trying to go onto a point in Jaguar Falls, having a dredge defending that point from safety. Prosperlogic, like I told you, don't count him out. PS4 Elevate Europeans, they take the lead here in point 2.
And that's the easiest point fight breakdown. Just, if you're Elevate, don't walk into a dredge in one quarter. Like 4 or 5 people standing in one spot where he is just lobbing grenades is his dream. That is what you want as a blaster, no matter who you are playing. But even better for dredge, because that's going to get that detonation going for you. The reason that charges so fast on that Kraken is because he was able to find all that damage.
Such an interesting thing as well when we talk about the history of this team as, wow, Elevate just get deleted there. And I don't know if that's, you know, an elevation of their viewpoint or if they need to have one, because they didn't see that coming. I'll tell you that. Flashpoint are looking good, and they are flashing themselves to the next point in this map. Very close to a 3-1.
I mean, with the way things are going, if they can just walk this forward a little further, not only they get the conversion, but I feel like they've kind of shut down Elevate where it matters most. They do still have the ability to fight back. Ancient Rage is going to get popped right there, and that's going to allow them to get a kill. Shoo putting his name on board with this Grover, and that pressure immediately forces Flashpoint to fall back almost to the middle of the map.
Nice stuff, and I like the Blossom heal, just giving that group confidence to go in, saying, I got you, get back to full, feel good about zoning, maybe taking an extra step, and then you'll be able to jump back into the radius. Love the AoE just tell there on that Grover heal, because you know where you need to stand in order to make sure that you're safe. 57 seconds now, but Prosperlogic, stored for me, has still not been taken down in 11 eliminations, so this is, what? Are you kidding me? Even the cameraman was fooled. It's a push, backdoor, and Prosper stands up, laughing and shaking hands.
I feel like this is the most appropriate time to pull this out, but where are you looking? What are you focused on if you're Elevate there outside of the objective? Like, why are you going anywhere? I mean, the way things were set up there, that was perfect for Flashpoint. I actually really hope we get a replay to see who it was that gets the back door. Something tells me it might have been Prosper with the way things were going, because, I mean, he's the perfect.
It had to be,
Dredge
right?
lays down a portal back there, right? You kill him off, and then he portals across the map. He can get back there. It doesn't matter if you can defend him. You can't dismount him. You can't stop it.
Now, I don't demand a lot of replays, but we have to find out what happened there, or at least get some behind-the-scenes information relayed to us, because that was pretty special. And now it's tied, 2-2. Flashpoint, Elevate going toe-to-toe here. I'm excited to see this continue. Wall goes up. Elevate now looking around the corner. Seismic crash, and hello, Daddy of the Abyss, Pirate, trying to steal all your booty, and there's the Kraken. He's going to find some damage. Prosper again. making plays, and TheLgcy continuing his legacy on the front lines, finds a kill, and Flashpoint pushes Elevate back to base.
Now the control's completely in Dredge's favor. You can aim wherever you want. They have to come through very specific corridors to get on the point, and you can control all of them, although they're getting aggressive, but you have GoodLad as a backup. You have everything in your favor. 84% as well. Kyle Khanrad, you're alone.
But you know what? I really like the at least aggression immediately. They saw that it was there. The Ancient Rage could be the thing that turns this around, but they don't have it, so they're fighting with shields and just a dream. Maybe some hopes as well, maybe a little bit of confidence, but that seems to be waning. But the point seems to be moving in their direction. Elevate have found an answer. Flashpoint now losing to Prosperlogic is not back. And he's actually not in sight. This could be a zone that goes a little better, and they get the objective.
And Nara being staggered out as far as she is as well, that gives them complete control over, right? You have Xrvii, he can get back in. You have a Dragon Punch you can use to try and clear this up. But with 3 front lines, you don't exactly have a perfect target for it. And a lot is going to rely on Prosperlogic, maybe to find some damage. But they're going to be able to get in here. They're going to be able to stall it out. And they're going for the Dragon Punch.
And this is what's so good about Dredge. You cannot stand near a broadside and expect to survive. Commander's Grab forces the Ancient Rage from xWooosh. And now Xrvii has to throw up the shield. It's shield versus shield. It's Vivian versus Khan. And this time, Xrvii cannot win this battle. 96% for Elevate. And that's TheLgcy trying to fight back. The Stigala, the Stone Warden will crumble like a cookie. And that's Elevate now. Game point in hand. They just have to push and complete it.
And they have exactly the kind of lineup you need for this. Vivian is going to be a walking war zone. Sentinel's still popped, and as you can see, charging the ult. One of the only champions, that can do this and keep the effort going right now. That with Ruckus, with the Fernanda, with the Mako, there's so much aggression that Overpowered might be able to take at least GR off the map for a little bit.
See you later. I mean, that Khan Overpower, it's so good at just saying, you die now, my friend, and there's really nothing you can do about it. The only thing you can expect is maybe if there's pressure on the side of the enemy team to focus on the Khan and then maybe make him kind of give up that target early, but it just doesn't seem like it's going to happen now. A little bit of respite, a little bit of, I think, downtime here with 1:50 now on the clock. This PS4 finals started off with a bang. It's already been 11 minutes for essentially. And a 3-2 with Elevate at the precipice of taking game 1.
Everything's set up right at their doorstep. They just have to be able to come through and make that difference now. But unfortunately for them, it seems like there's going to be a nice stalwart defense from Flashpoint. They're setting it up perfectly, but now the aggression's going to be coming through. Illusory Ripples just popped.
Big time stuff at Fluorescence, helping to keep Kyle Khanrad alive, but 1 minute and 19 seconds are on the clock. Vivian is so low, but TheLgcy finds a double kill. The Inara continues to have a performance that is going to give Flashpoint a chance. She can't do it all, but man, is she doing enough. The Stigala representing, big shot by iGoodlad, and they are right back where they want to be, zoning at about half court to make sure that they get a chance at another objective capture.
Yeah, there's still another minute. There's still so much time for Elevate to regroup, come back into this. Again, with 3 front lines, you have so many bodies you can throw out. It takes so long to get rid of them, and as long as Shoo keeps up the healing the way he's been playing, everything is going completely smooth for them. Sentinels are ready to be popped. Hexafire is there. Whirlwind is ready, and an Immortal all in the bank for Elevate. They have the tools necessary to be able to come around this corner and convert, but they have to get ready for it.
Big fireball here, contesting the objective. Got to make sure we keep our eyes on that. Prosperlogic already did us for one. Can't have another one happen on our watch. 20 seconds now. TheLgcy holding strong. Prosperlogic and the Dread, Pirate of the Abyss, comes to save the day. iGoodlad and TheLgcy get in on the action, and it looks like we are going to a 3-3 in game 1, and it's going to be decided yet again by one objective fight as to who takes the lead in this set.
Being able to put your best foot forward, and so far these last couple points have been controlled by Prosperlogic. He is the one that is making the difference for the team. The rest of them are all there, but he is the one that has set them up for success. So this Dredge is playing much more of an impact on Jaguar Falls that we've really gotten to see all weekend.
We sure have. And I mean, I love the conversations happening. These teams are not falling back. They're not isolating themselves. They're not going internal and saying, oh, yeah, somebody else did something wrong. Oh, boy, I wish I would have been there. They're talking about it because that's what you do in a competition. You talk to your teammates. You figure it out. And that's one of the quietest guys right there, but he is one of the strongest leaders for this team. Shoo has been a rock ever since I met him over at Dreamhack Valencia and had a conversation with him. And it was a great kind of setup for the kind of guy that he is. Can he take his team to a victory here?
They're coming in. Morale boosts are ready for Stormavatar at 3, Xrvii at 2. GoodLad even getting his name in there, just having it at 1. And of course, they all have their ults available, almost ready there for Stormavatar. And that can make a big difference. But Prosperlogic has been the one making the plays, and this again is what's perfect. But the Kraken's not going to go all the way, and it completely wins.
That was not big Kraken energy, my friend. That was minuscule Kraken energy right there, and a little bit of a mistake from Prosperlogic. But I think that's going to make up maybe a little bit for it, but no. ElevateGR finds the kill and return onto Xrvii. There's the seismic crash, but is it, you know it, a day late and $1 short? We'll have to wait and see. Khanrad with the shield. He's going to go in, and he's going to lose his life. Stormavatar finds it, and now it's Elevate who might be in trouble.
And what a wall, keeping that ancient Raging Turtle out from the attacking, but Inara still going to end up going down as Woosh finds the kill. Khan is doing whatever he can, but Xrvii is left alone and no one else to come save him. You have one Drogo standing between you and potentially holding this point.
But that's it, 99%. It's going to tick to 100. Elevate started off with a win over Flashpoint.
Everything going their way at the very beginning, and then it got a little rough in the middle. And again, it all comes down to just stacking in one area. They approached that second fight almost similarly, but they did the right amount of pressure on the Prosper to make sure that he couldn't find that position, find that angle he needed to be able to get 2-3 members all in one set of grenades.
It was just completely, like, I think demoralizing to see the Kraken come out that way. Tiny Kraken energy right there. Unfortunate for Prosper and the rest of the squad, but they bounced back before. Let's send it back to the desk. Game 1 goes the way of Elevate.
You hate to see the tiny Kraken. No one wants the tiny Kraken. But you know, that game had intrigue, excitement, a little bit of everything, mystery as well, because you have a back cap with a teleporting dredge. That is just silliness.
Definitely missed something. I don't know if I would say mystery.
Yeah, missed.
I cannot.
Just missed it. I think that's what it was.
I cannot believe I guess they must not have seen the teleporter, because any team that sees the teleporter behind, in my experience, is like, all right, can somebody watch this teleporter? Like, we know he's going to try something cheesy. I remember in like scrims, there was a teleporter in church. We're like, hey, player name, he's going to teleport behind. Can someone watch that? Wait like 10 seconds, and then it's like, boop, dead. So they just saw it and either didn't care or just missed it.
Yeah, I mean, that was just a crazy series of events, but it did not lead to the win. In fact, it all came down to that final battle on point. It was 3-3, all knotted up. That final battle, you have a huge ultimate in that Kraken. Dredge, unfortunately, does not get that chance, is not able to use it, and things just kind of fall apart from there. So, Blue, your takeaway from this game?
Prosperlogic. Okay. So here's what happened. Prosperlogic on the dredge. As Elevate, you know that dredge is going to be prioritized, especially on console. I told you guys that yesterday. Dredge is disgusting. We saw it twice yesterday, and it worked both times. Unfortunately, he lost one of those games.
And he lost this one too.
Exactly. So he's 1-3 or 1-2 this season.
Great.
But Dredge is really good on console because he can create this zoning. Like, you're scared to walk in a room because Dredge is just going to bombard you.
Yeah.
And Prosper, besides the telepoint backdoor capture, he was playing so well on the dredge. And then that last round, it's 3-3. He comes in there, he throws his Kraken, and he misses. That was mistake number 1. Mistake number 2, and Kresnik noticed it as well. Anar and him are fighting this battle. They can win this battle. They kill Khanrad on the Fernando. They throw Khan ults Vivian.
Yeah.
I think 3 times. I saw it twice, and that was brilliant. They're running triple tank. Ulting a tank's not going to do that much, and you need to ult the Vivian to get rid of their only damage. So he did that. They get rid of Fernando. They get rid of Vivian.
Like their win condition was right in front of them, and
exactly.
they did it.
Inara puts up a wall. The heal has to come through from Stormavatar. And in the middle of that, Prosper teleports to the other side of the wall, and he puts himself in front of the last 3 Elevate people by himself. He gets killed, and then it's just Inara left by herself, and she can't outfight that without her healer.
Yeah, so it's very difficult to be able to come on top, especially with all the HP that you had to go through, with all of just the protection that was going in. It was very, very difficult. But let's find out who your SteelSeries MVP was for game number 1 on Jaguar Falls. It is going to be Woosh on the Makoa.
Yeah, his hooks were, even I was going like, maybe not that one, that was pretty close, but he had some corner thread the needle hooks that I was like, oh man, this guy, oh, here's the teleport, by the way, that Blue was talking about. Comes right through the wall. The Inara keeps her wall up and lets the dredge just dive to the Makoa pressure.
Yeah, you're just getting whacked away by that ancient rage there, that anchor just swinging with not a care in the world. Woosh is going to be your SteelSeries MVP for that game. This is the best of 5.
I think
Elevate are already one step closer to making it to the Console War Finals.
Okay, so I think this is going to go 5 games, and it will go 5 games if Prosper doesn't make simple mistakes like he did in that last round. Prosper was the MVP of the Paladins Console League for its first season. He was the MVP, and he's one of the best DPS players in the world on console. I think he'll be able to pick it up. He'll recognize his mistakes, and I think he will carry this to 5.
And surely that is what you're going to hope for as well, right? Like, but this is a much different stage than what you may experience in the PCL, right? Like here you got a crowd watching you, the lights, the commentators, everything, the atmosphere. It is a different experience entirely. And Map 2 will be Brightmarsh here. So President, having seen these 2 teams so far, I know I'm not asking you really to predict what we're gonna see, because anything is possible. But what would you like to see maybe a Flashpoint try and pivot to in your experience?
I mean, I want them to be ready for the triple tank, because they definitely could have drafted better. They could have maybe banned the Vivian, or gone for it themselves earlier. I think actually Vivian was first pick, right? Vivian was the first pick.
Vivian was first pick.
Vivian was first pick.
Yeah.
They wanted to get that off the board. They knew they were going to go triple tank.
Oh, they knew they were going to go triple tank. I don't know. I want them to be ready for anything on this map, honestly, because on PC, this is a map where you can play almost, since it's flat, not really too much elevation difference, you can play a lot of the champs that aren't as viable on the maps like Serpent or Ascension or Timber, and I want them to be just keep their heads open in the draft and not get caught as off guard as I think they were by that triple tank draft.
Yeah, but what's silly though is that these players are so familiar with one another, Blue, you would have thought that they would be prepared for that triple tank, right? You see the Vivian go first and you start to see things kind of stack, and at that point they still drafted the way they did.
That's the problem. I mean, Elevate, the entire roster can flex, so it's really hard to gauge what they're going to do, and whatever they do it very well. Yeah. You saw that Grok was banned the first game. That might happen again.
And that one would make sense, especially on Brightmarsh.
Well, Shoo is the best Ying on console, and he's the best Grok on console. So.
Fair enough, fair enough. Well, let's see for game 2, Brightmarsh. Flashpoint, we will pick first. Excuse me there, look for their ban. Let's see what they go with. And genuinely curious. I love going into the picks and bans for console, because you never know what you're going to get, but the Dredge is going to take a seat. And then Victor for Elevate, so really prioritizing those damaged champions. There goes Grok, as you had said before, Blue. And then finally, Elevate's choice.
I wouldn't be shocked to see another like hit scan or a flanker, whether it be like Skye, Talus, Vivian, one of those 3.
I could see Skye being banned out here.
You might not see these teams play Skye. They understand that there's over 10 characters in the game that can have reveal in their loadouts, so you don't really need a
fair. And you can play around them, though, I think. I mean, depending on how you play, you can do that backline, poison bolt, poke strategy.
Yeah, but it's high risk, high reward.
Yes.
Ah, there you go.
So there you go. There's the ban. Hey. I think that's for the ultimate on this map.
Yeah,
like
I'm
yesterday.
just saying, you know, like you over here saying, I'm the console guy. It's not going to happen. It's not. They're not going to go. No one's going to play Skye. And now look, now no one can play Skye.
It's the Xbox.
It's the Xbox. It's honestly my Xbox IQ. That's what it is.
It's really the fact that the separated thumbsticks have really been carrying us through.
My brother's front row. He's giving me all the intel. He's an Xbox Paladins player. He's telling me all the details.
You know, GoodLad plays with like his right thumbstick is like Up there.
he plays
super
with-
tall
he
control
plays
freak.
with a
And then
control
his
freak.
left one is like under the table. Even his teammates are like, dude, how do you
play like that? Do you have an inverted thumb? All right, well, Talus now for Flashpoint will be the first pickup. Let's see what Elevate's going to go with. A Vivian lock-in, so Talus really looking to dive into that back line, be a pain, harass over there, and then you have the Fernando Vivian. Fernando, good point presence. You know, solid picks from Elevate to start here, Kresnik.
Yeah, Talus I actually think is good into the Vivian Nando, at least from my experience, because he has the Antediluvian, the in-hand cauterize in his build. He can build Wrecker. It's hard for Fernando to pressure him through like the Guts DR in the build, or I mean, sometimes maybe even like the Life Rip on the overcharge.
Yeah.
And he can bust the Vivian shield too pretty quickly with the Wrecker build.
So yesterday, first game for the Xbox Finals, we saw Talus first pick, and they had a Grover on their team.
Yeah.
And on the other side, you have Leanne and Willow, who are both excellent cauterized champions. That Talus's job was not to kill. If he kills, he kills. His job was to annoy those damages, or at least one of them, to get that cauterized pressure off of that frontline battle.
Oh, Tyra.
Yes.
Have not seen
This is looking spicy, I told
This
you.
is looking spicy. We're getting that spice, that picante. Okay, I like it. I like it. The Grover, by the way, lock in. Praise be to the tree. And then Leon as well. You have Khan for Elevate. Interesting draft. Ash,
Stay close.
your final tank here.
In my head, there's two things this Tyra can do, and two things she'll probably end up doing. I'm sure she'll be Hunting Party, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm assuming that's meta on console.
99%.
Okay. And the Hunting Party, she can reveal the Talus that's trying to go on these flanks, or just say, I'm just going to make this Makoa take like 25% more damage and like, you know, burn him straight down.
All right, well, the picks and bans are settled. Blue, how you feeling about these two teams? Who you got?
I don't know. I really like the Tyra on the side of Elevate, standing behind that Fernando with the Vivian right next to her.
Yeah.
But then again, on the side of Flashpoint, you've got some champions that can have that cauterize and wrecker at the same time. And then you have Ash, who can just box people out in the doorways.
I think Elevate's comp's going to take better skill, better play, and both teams looked like they had a couple sloppy things, so I'm going to give it to Flashpoint.
Okay, all right, well, let's see how this one plays out, ladies and gentlemen. Game 2 of the PS4 Finals. Let's send it over to your casters. You have Gormizer and Rain Day.
You know, I think Golden Boy's been watching too much Handmaid's Tale with his wife or something, because the praise be, that's the only thing I think of. And if he hasn't seen it, then I feel like he's out of the loop right there. Okay, there it is. Praise be to the tree. Let's see if the tree gets another win. Elevate looking good thus far, Gore. You like their draft?
I like their draft only because I've been hearing nonstop for the last day and a half about how great Tyra is. Yeah. I need to see how great Tyra actually is, because it has been boasted, every B word that you could potentially think to describe it as a good thing here for Tyra. So is she going to be able to stand up to the criticism?
You can almost say, let's see if she's going to make it to the other side. You might be able to say that as well. Gore and I
We've been singing a lot.
We've been singing a lot. Greatest Showman has not been not sang up here, and so we will leave it at that. As the party boys like to entertain themselves, that is for sure. If you're just joining us, it is Elevate in a 1-0 position here over Flashpoint. Starting out on Bright Marsh, the Tyra pick with the Hunters Party. And I think that's going to be a big conversation piece, but so far, nothing really much has happened here. No real commitments from either side.
And you can see where GR is able to get aggressive, but at the same time, like, because of the low health environment, 2450 is pretty good. That kind of thing can happen to you if you poke out just a little too long, especially against the Leon. And so far, things not going their way. Talus, once again, on Bright Marsh has been very polarizing throughout the qualifiers that we had coming through. But just throughout these last couple days, he's, I think now at maybe 50%. He's won once and he's lost once. He does not typically do well here when he has to defend. When he is able to go all in all the time, he feels comfortable.
And it's because he just can go for that kind of pump fake, right? He makes everybody fall to a certain position because he blitz uppers, he goes to the back line. You just have to move backwards, right? Because he just is either forcing you to do it or he's running at you with a Vericharger on overcharge, doing 2 million damage a second. And I think that opens up a lot of space space for the front lines like LeGcy on this Makoa, which, forget about it, the man went, what, 49-0 in that finals game to secure this starting spot. Definitely a good champion for him, but here's the efflorescence. It's just going to keep him alive. What a play from Stormavatar there to be right where his teammates need him to be.
Just through the wall, but you can see Khanrad holding down the perfect angle exactly where he needs to. Going to be able to pick up Xrvii as well on the retreat. LeGcy's full health again. Still has to run away. Going to have to pop the shell shield just to make sure he stays alive, and that is a very dangerous spot to be a tree in, just because there's no cover, nowhere to run. Everyone's going to fall back from Elevate. They're going to give him a little bit of room, but a minute and a half still stands between Flashpoint potentially converting this to a 2-0.
It's not easy being green. I've heard that said. I think
Plus
Grover.
Makoa.
Yeah, exactly. Plus Makoa here as well. 900 healing for the Efflorescence, and then the Blossom Burst heal as well. That passive healing is going to do a good job of keeping LeGcy safe, but not if ElevateGR get a hunting party mark onto the Makoa, and all 5 of them burn him down, both literally with the firebomb and the Scorch Fernando fireball. But figuratively, the way they're approaching this fight as a team unit has been super successful. They lost the point, but they're not ceding any ground.
And this is one of the areas where Tyra can do really well. I personally like her on Jaguar Falls, I think a little more than I like Bright Marsh, but just because, again, narrow corridors like this, you can kind of control where your fireball goes. It's random when it does get thrown down. If you throw it out in the open field, it's just going to go wherever it wants to. If you can throw it down a hallway, you know exactly the path it's going to be able to take. And if you can catch out some of these front lines in there, or even a Talus, it's just going to burn them down.
Big hook there from LeGcy. What's going to happen now, because iGoodlad has used the Rune of Travel, so he's got 8 seconds where he can be aggressive, but he doesn't have an out. And so he's going to just stay in the back line and find a kill. It's the best of both worlds. This guy is absolutely getting what he wanted, and it's just to stay safe and now have an opportunity to get aggressive. You're going to see it now. He goes for the Blitz Upper, and he's got the overcharge. Doesn't even need it. Double kill for the good lad. And EU PS4 clapping back, starting strong here on Bright Marsh.
And being forced to just run out of there. You have a Khan standing ready. Respawns coming through. Elevate going to be up on the balcony, and they do immediately overpower. Toss that Makoa off. LeGcy is out of the fight.
I don't know about that. I mean, I like that you're holding the defense, but what do they use? They use the Illusory Rift? They use the overpower? I mean, Flashpoint, you don't use anything. That's a big win, and now what you can do as Flashpoint is just have the ultimate advantage, play aggressive into that fight, no overpower to worry about, and you just capture another point.
I mean, you're going to be feeling comfortable. Again, this is something that we saw during qualifiers. If you can pop that Illusory Rift, overpower is one thing. You can get rid of that. That's perfect at the end of the round to get down. But Illusory Rift can change the way the fight goes. The amount of healing it has, especially while you're still early on. Once Cauterize 3s come on, it has a little bit less of an impact, but it's just so good for your team. It's huge team-wide global healing for everybody, and it's at 8%. It is not going to affect this as much. So if you are looking at Goodlad, who's 6-2, he is going to have a heyday.
Really good build here. Favored Corey. Tracker, most notably, giving him that movement speed, but Primal Might is really where things start to get interesting. Every time he gets a kill, all of his cooldowns for Tyra get reset by 50%. And it's not even a kill, it's an elimination. Anyone that he touches with his bullets or any kind of pressure like that goes down, he gets all his cooldowns back, and it's an 18-second cooldown for that firebomb, something you desperately need help with. Prosperlogic goes into it, and Enlightenment beats a grenade any day of the week. LeGcy finds a little bit of love as well, and Goodlad gets in on the action. Elevate are left with one member, and that Ying is just running away.
And really good shots from LeGcy as well, using the arc just to make sure he gets that distance, and this is a great zone. Everything you need. They're dismounting themselves. You don't even have to worry about it as you control everything. You are just enough to be worried about, and now you are pushing Ancient Rage, even getting popped.
Oh man, Prosperlogic, do not give this man Leon. We talked about it. They were confident enough to say that Leon might have a 1-7 win rate in the PCL, but if you give it to us for 7 games, we'll go ahead and make that a positive win rate when we're said and done. Prosperlogic and the rest of Flashpoint do it to him again, and it's Flashpoint with the objective capture, leading 2-1.
Now, Dredge, last game, pretty spammy. You can't really tell exactly how good his name is. Leon, and I've even seen Kinessa clips coming through. Prosperlogic is very good at finding these headshots, finding exactly where he needs to put those bullets, and everything that connects, even if it's into a shield, is going to be worthwhile for his team. 73% on that Enlightenment as well. He has been using it perfectly. The pressure is on. No one's on the payload, though.
Yeah, the pressure's on and no one's on the payload. So is the pressure really on? Or is it off? Or is it Leon?
They finally remembered it.
All right. I'm done here.
He's tabbed out. That's it. That's just me for the rest of the cast.
Thanks, Alex.
With the way things are going, but Flashpoint are looking good, except for maybe a lapse in judgment of trying to push the payload, or maybe they're just trying to grab the ground. They've successfully killed off Elevate and gotten a lot of movement on this payload available for them, just going for free. Everyone on Elevate's pushed back. They've actually jumped off the balcony, so they're free picking.
This is really a story about GoodLad, right? This is a story about him being able to provide space and time for Prosperlogic on the Leon to do well, and unfortunately, SirJamesParker claps with a double kill to make sure that none of that momentum is able to be sustained. And on Bright Marsh, such a close map. Once you lose your momentum here, it's very easy to get zoned out for the rest of the fight.
I mean, coming through, again, Vivian has been one of the things. I actually still stand by the fact I think that we started seeing her in PC after console has showcased how good she can be on certain maps, and SJP has been one of those pioneers being able to come through. I mean, just look at that. There's literally nowhere to stand that you feel safe. These Sentinels do so much damage unless you are potentially in McCullough with a high health bar, but not in a 1v2.
I didn't know they hotfixed Grover to have 0 health. I didn't get that.
They actually just gave Vivian a delete key.
Oh, they gave her the delete key. Is he still a playable character then? I'm not sure. He really did get deleted in that one. 34 seconds now. And Elevate and Flashpoint still going toe-to-toe. A lot of the desk thought this was going to go 5 games. And we're ready for it. I've already gone 7 games today. What's another 5?
Practice in.
Yeah, what's another 5 for me? I got the jacket off. I'm not pretending like, you know, this is a fresh day with a cup of coffee. We're in the thick of things. And we're ready for it. PS4 is bringing the heat. And so is Elevate, but Flashpoint have a chance here with a big kill. If they can just get one, they might be able to snowball this and push it in.
Normally about 40% on the map, especially going into overtime, is going to be incredibly difficult for you. But as long as everything is perfect right here, they find that big pig like you can get. Enlightenment is ready, but he's not going to go for it. The healing is just too good right now from Elevate. Another Illusory Rift.
That's what it was the Illusory Rift. I saw the glow and I said, wow, Enlightenment being used, but no. And that's the first kill in this push, and the overtime is starting to look better and better. Enlightenment, oh, it's a double, and he gets all the trouble for Elevate. Flashpoint now just with 4. That's about 3 more than they need, because they've killed everyone on the side of Elevate. Khan is going to have to overpower if he wants to hold again, but then they have no point fight ultimates. What are they going to do, Gore?
I mean, his shield's been popped, his health bar about to go down with him. There's an Immortal to try and save his life. Overpower has come through, but it's not enough to get a kill for him. Everything's still going for Flashpoint.
Didn't your mama tell you, don't Illusory Rift into a death attacks Leon? It just doesn't work out, honey. Don't try it and Elevate. They get the experience firsthand. Guess they're not going to listen to the wisdom of the ages and Prosperlogic and the rest of these EU PS4 Flashpoint boys. Looking good.
So much is going on this Leon, and so much is just clean for them with the way things have been going. If Prosperlogic can keep this kind of pressure up, if he can keep
clean
this
like
kind of play up,
clean like
it's going to be good. Like the suit. Custom made.
Custom made, by the way. Mr. Custom. Mr. Custom Made. I think that's a good nickname for you, Gordon.
I don't think so.
I mean, you know.
I'm going to take a hard pass on this one.
I don't know. I think you look fresh. You got the nice shoes on as well. I went for black and you know, fancy, but your feet, I'm sure, are feeling much better.
3, 2.
Nice and cushioned.
Nice and cushioned. How do you think they feel on the player side of things? Elevate feeling
Flashpoint are feeling nice and cushioned. Elevate are feeling
like me,
the heat.
like my feet. Yeah.
Yeah. A lot like the heat. Especially from yesterday.
I don't know about that, but
maybe getting cut into the heel just a little bit.
There you go. Oh my God. Wow, I think that crossfire might have just done about 16,000 damage. Oh my goodness gracious. Ancient Rage with a Hunter's Party mark on you. That's another thing your mama should have told you. Do not try it. You will not last long, my friend.
Right now, though, trying to fight back. Ash does go into the assert. Dominus Prosperlogic gets rid of Woosh. Here comes Talus, and he's looking for the kill, but GR just going to push him back and force this out, but still a kill on TheShoo, a kill on the GR.
Oh, Prosperlogic on a 20 streak, and I told you, you give him Leon, and he will make things happen. This is all they wanted on Flashpoint. 87%, 93%, 99. Game 2 goes their way. It's all squared on console.
I have to say, if you're looking at 4-1 versus a 4-3, Flashpoint take that one in a much more dominant fashion. They are feeling a lot better. And again, once Prosperlogic gets warmed up, you put him on champions like that, things start rolling. I mean, just look at Rock Monkey earlier. The same kind of effect starts to happen.
Yeah, those enlightenments were outrageous. I mean, the amount of value he got. On the push, he got 2, which is 3,200 damage, by the way. And then he still gets the double kill. This one, he finds somebody who's retreating. I mean, if she stays alive, who knows what happens in the fight. Party boys are done for now. Let's send it back to the desk. Game 3 should be interesting.
Well, if you guys are the party boys, I fear for what we are, honestly. It's been an interesting day. It's been an interesting day. That's right. Welcome back to the Alienware Analyst Desk. You hear me, folks? This is why it's the party desk. You got Chris, you also got Blue over here.
What you got on here, by the way?
Or what do you have? Exactly.
There's a lemon wedge in it.
There's a lemon wedge. It's actually a bottle of water. Okay, well, I mean, Flashpoint managed to bounce back. They've tied this one up. The entire time, you just keep looking at me, and you keep saying one thing to me about a certain player's Lian.
Prosperlogic is the best Lian on console in the world.
You just he keeps saying it. He looks at me, looks me in the windows of my soul.
So Lian was 0-5 in the beginning of the PCL season, right? 0-5. I made a tweet about it because she's disgusting. She's so good. Her kid is amazing. I said she's 0-5 in the PCL. What's going on? And Legacy said, okay, everybody stop playing Lian. We're gonna pick her. We're gonna fix that.
Yeah, and fix it they did, because Prosperlogic went 10-3 in that game, 13 assists as well. Not bad at all. Really did contribute to that victory there. That was just straight up just domination by Flashpoint.
I want to see the damage for Prosper's Lian.
Ask and you shall receive.
He was on a 20 streak. Look at that. Look at everyone else's damage. SirJamesParker on the Vivian. But
it's a Vivian.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
that's all you got to say about it. It's a Vivian.
There's one thing I want to talk about. When that last point fight, 3-1, first of all, Flashpoint was able to push that payload in for the 2-point conversion without using any of their ults. They had 4 ults going into the next round. If they can win that initial team fight in the last round, or the potential last round, without even using an ult, they're in a good place. Legacy used that Makoa ult, and I think that was a great ult. He got melted in seconds, but it kept Tyra away from the point fight. And by the time they killed that Makoa and they turned back towards point, you got Xrvii on this damage reduction Ashe just sitting on point like, yeah, walk in here, brother.
Yeah, and you make an interesting point about that, because, Gore and Rainday were like really excited about that. As it was like insane, the damage output that they were throwing out there. But it was like, it actually kept that attention away from everything else. So it kept all of our attention away as well, because you're like, oh my God, that's insane. And then you look and you're like, but wait a minute, they have no control. They've lost it entirely. But let's actually go ahead and check out our SteelSeries MVP for Game 2 on Bright Marsh, and it is Blue's favorite player, Prosperlogic on the Lian. What's the catchphrase again? Prosperlogic is the best Lian on console
in the world.
He was also MVP of the league.
Yeah.
Okay, so
you can add this to his accolades too. You could say he was the MVP of the league, and in Game 2 of Elevate versus Flashpoint in the PS4.
Right here, this triple kill.
That was pretty crazy.
20 streak. That was the play. They go back towards point. You got Ashe there, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh man, we got to deal with this Ashe damage reduction. She's going to be a problem. And then all of a sudden you just see Lian sliding in the back line.
Yeah. Sliding on through.
Yeah, she can get away with so much with the slide. Like he was running, I believe, like an all slide reset build, and that's why he died so little, because he could just constantly dash in, dash out, gets a movement speed after, and her biggest strength as a character is being able to get away with these aggressive little silly plays and then get out by either being invincible or just eating herself right out of that fight.
And just outputting so much damage as well, right? And then the cleanups too with the ultimate. There's just a lot of value that they were getting out of that. Makes you wonder what those picks and bans are going to look like for Game 3, but more importantly, what map we're going to be going to for Game 3. You know these players very well, Blue. Where does Elevate take us?
I think they're going to take us to another map that's a little different here, and there you go.
You can't argue the timing. You truly cannot argue the timing of the question and the answer. Just everything just worked out very well.
That answer could have worked no matter what came out. Actually,
I didn't have that answer before, so
Yeah, so
people at home to know.
I mean, this is our console expert, by the way. So we're gonna go to Ice Mines.
Nothing but skill, baby.
Nothing but skill. That's
And
right.
by the way, my favorite player is me.
Okay. I thought it would have been Prosperlogic with the way he just keep hyping him up.
you mean the best land in the world on console?
Yeah, and the MVP.
He's number
Summer
two.
Land.
He's number two. He's number two.
Okay, so we're gonna go to Ice Mines here. Chris, I want your insight on this, your professional opinion. Ice Mines. What do you think we could see composition-wise?
This is a map where your ultimates mean a lot because the odds of you capping at the end are relatively low, at least on PC. I'm not sure if it's the same on console. Yes? No?
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
On Ice Mines, yeah.
Yeah, so the mid fight is super important, and having ultimates that can decide a fight immediately, like Khan's Overpower, Makoa's Ancient Rage, Skybomb is pretty good for zoning later in the fight. I figured I'd say that. A little console spice in there. But any character with really good ultimates is just really good on Ice Mines.
Kresnik, PC, console, it doesn't matter. Everybody hates Ice Mines.
Yeah.
I love Ice Mines.
So these maps that we played Bright Marsh, Jag Falls, and Ice Mines. What do you see keep getting banned is Grok. You have the #1 Grok in the world on Elevate in Shoo. You have the #2 Grok in the world on Flashpoint. These teams want to pull this Grok out. They want to damage Grok.
Sometimes you just want to whip the Grok out. I totally get it.
In the end,
I'm not going to riff on that.
I didn't think you want to. I think the statement stands. Does the statement not stand? I don't know. I'm fairly certain it does.
There's your tree.
If you're
Your
gonna do
tree
that,
was just first pick.
You definitely want big totem energy if you're going to be doing that.
Yes, you want big totem energy.
Praise
if you want
be
to
the
whip
tree,
the Grok
first
out.
pick.
There's nothing wrong with that. Vivian is going to
Go
go,
for first rotation.
and the tree is free. Will be picked with Dredge.
Yeah, Dredge is amazing.
Well, it's Ice Mines. I told you, if it's a Grok map, it's a Dredge map.
This is a hot team.
Okay.
My theory for Ice Mines drafting, at least on PC, and I believe this carries over to console, is you want characters with circles. Now, I say that in you want circles of area denial, right?
Yeah.
So Willow's really good because of her seedlings and her dead zone. Drogo's is good because of the spit explosion. Victor has the nade. Dredge is a character. He's all circles. He's practically a rolling sphere when I play him.
Yeah.
He's just all circles.
It's very similar to Smite on Xbox back in the day when it was like all circles. Just use gods with circles, win the game. That's what people were talking about back then. Obviously, it has evolved significantly since then, but you know that is a kind of the crux of it all. Makoa and Ash locked in for Flashpoint. Ruckus though for Elevate.
Triple tank.
I like this. They went Makoa Ash. Those are two of their best tanks that they can run in their strategy book, and they're doing it again. It worked on Bright Marsh.
And also too, the Ying could jump up and shoot the heal beam perfectly fine because they're so massive.
That's true. The jumping accuracy doesn't matter.
Well, that
doesn't matter.
That's your best Ying in the console in the world.
Tyra
MVP of Summerland too.
Tyra has some circles.
Yeah.
Some burning circles.
That's right. So interesting draft here for Ice Mines, an interesting map.
So they're going to save the firebomb for the Ying clones.
Okay, so
Even though she's going to run Life Exchange.
who do you think is going to win then?
I got Flashpoint in this because Tyra, you're going against triple tank. You saw them first pick Vivian. You're like, okay, they're going triple tank again. Let's grab Tyra, hunting party with Dredge. Boom.
Nailed it.
I got Elevate. I think tanks are so good on this map, and they got 3 of them.
Okay, well, we're all tied up 1-1 here for the PS4 finals. Winner will move on to face off against Vex Gaming in the console wars, but there's still so much more Paladins to be played. Let's send it over to your casters, Gormizer and Rainday.
Thanks for that huge toss over here, Golden Boy. I appreciate it, man. And I think Gormizer and I are excited for our favorite map in Paladins, and it always will be Ice Mines. What else can you say? I mean,
no team gets to rock out with their Grok out, but they do get Tyra, they get Dredge all on one side. They're set up, and I think that's honestly going to be a little bit better than 3 Frontlines, but it is going to come down to it. I mean, this is what one Elevate game won.
Yeah.
Although I feel like, again, Jaguar Falls, to me, it's a little better to have a triple frontline than you'd see on Ice Mines, except to make it 3-3.
I think Ice Mines just spells uncertainty. There's a lot of moments where they can go either way, and it feels like the map is more of a character to play against versus even the champions that you have to go on that are already against you. And I think that's what Flashpoint and Elevate are probably hoping for, at least on the side of Elevate, bringing Flashpoint here after losing game 2. This game is that pivotal game 5 in a best of 7. It's the game 3 in a best of 5. And it's going to decide who takes the lead and who has set point. And so far, so good for Kyle Khanrad and Elevate, finding Xrvii early on and pushing him back.
I mean, one of the best things about getting rid of a front line this early on, you can kill off damage, it's not going to make as big of a difference, but front line, everyone has to fall back. You lose a lot of your pressure, and you can see conceding pretty much all of their side of the map, at least for the point. Flashpoint all fall back, they're all in one area, but they get it right back immediately, and if Prosper can set up in a place where he feels comfortable, he can get some really good grenades. I mean, he could be game changing.
I trust Dredge here more, I really do, but you know what, it's been very difficult for them to break through just the insane amount of healing. This time the difference is that they have the Grover on their side, so they don't have to deal with the healing and damage he brings out, and now things are looking good. Prosper finds a kill onto Kyle Khanrad. SirJamesParker, though, finding Legacy, and that is going to do wonders for the pressure that Elevate have relieved there, but still, Prosper is alive.
I mean, everything going perfect for him. SJP back on the ruckus, and even though he qualifies as a frontline, let's play the way Console do, and it is not going to be the same. He is just a really, really fat damage dealer when it comes down to it. That 4,300 health can disappear fast, but the emitter shield, everything that keeps him alive, as well as his damage reduction, more than likely in his loadout, just keeps him pushing forward. But the damage output he has makes it so difficult if you're Dredge, if you're Tyra, to really put up to him.
I agree. When you hit your headshots, I mean, it's a very big difference. However, really not a big difference if you just get hit with Scuttle's Dredge, and that damage is just insurmountable. And really the concept around these triple tanks and this lineup score is that you kind of win big and you win early, right?
I mean, as long as you keep control, right? And the best thing about it is opposite of what Flashpoint experienced at the beginning of the game. If you lose like your Fernando, if you lose your Con, if you lose your Ruckus, you have 2 other people who can fill that role. Right. Only Makoa can go forward if Ash falls down, and only Ash can go forward if Makoa disappears. So either one of those falling off for Flashpoint means that Dredge, Tyra have to find a kill almost immediately, or else that pressure they lose is completely going to turn in favor of Elevate, and you end up in a scenario like this.
Oh, Vivian's close to bringing out the girls here, but she is not going to do it now because the Kraken. And again, tiny Kraken energy, just zoning but not finding many kills is going to dissuade her. But we all know she's ready to party when she needs to. Those Sentinels are absolutely deadly, and this is the time. Contessa Vivian with the vial of blood, finding blood, massacring everybody on the side of Flashpoint and Elevate. Oh man, full deicide on the defense.
Everything you need in your favor, and those Sentinels again charge up the ult while they are out. Illusory Rift is almost charged up. Hexafire as well as the Overpowered are there. The Overpowered at this point in the map, not going to change too much. Maybe you can hold someone, get a free kill, but Hexafire, Illusory Rift, you're looking to close things out, you're going to find kills, you're going to keep your team alive, but a hook that comes through. SJP takes a lot of damage, but it's nowhere near enough to shut him down.
And then he goes for the Crossfire Shell Shield to buy some time and open up the space, and now Prosperlogic can move to the high ground, but low ground as well. Plus the Illusory Rift from Ying is changing the tide of this fight. It's keeping the momentum on the side of Elevate, and that's a big one. Overpower sends iGoodlad back to base. Push successful. Elevate go up 2-0.
I'm going to jinx it, but this could be
Don't do that.
Ice Mines with the way things go.
Not on Ice Mines.
There are only a couple of teams that can truly find a 4-0, but with this kind of control, you never know. I mean, comeback mechanic, I don't know. The point fight is not heavily in favor of Flashpoint.
Now we got a
22-minute
2-1. We got a 3-1, then a 3-2, then a 3-3, and then a 4-3 eventually. You just did it. Thank Gormizer, guys. No, but I'm excited. This is interesting.
They get more console action.
The interesting thing that I want to see is how well does this Dredge work out? Why do they continue to go back to it with such confidence? Because against the triple tank, you think it would work, but tiny Kraken energy so far from Prosperlogic. The Scuttle's been good, but they just haven't found the value from the ult, and I'm seeing a lot of players not use the Harpoon slow to guarantee that damage.
Well, a lot of it is going to be the draft that comes through from Elevate. If you have 3 front lines and you have a Nara, Torvald plus another, it's a lot easier than if you have a Fernando, a Ruckus, and a Khan. All three of those can box you and more than likely win in that engagement. Dredge has to be able to play on point in order to make this work, although he doesn't want to be on the actual point. He wants to be able to find that, but like you said, no harpoon.
No harpoon. Why are you not using the harpoon? It's a 50% slow for 2 seconds. You feel like that might help in hitting these Krakens, but I have literally not seen anyone today actually use that button. And I think it's just because Scuttle just forces you into thinking reload spam, reload spam, reload spam. But so far, so good. Flashpoint did get the value they were looking for. Although it's not a direct kill, it is an indirect assist to allowing, oh my God, SJP doing his best hide-and-seek impression, but this is kind of like a younger brother playing and like the older brother like pretending to walk around and not seeing him yet.
Do you think if he was Grover using a winter skin, he would blend in just enough that he might glance over him?
With how much Golden Boy has prayed to Grover, I have a feeling it might have actually worked then. But that's the only reason. Otherwise, no, absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
How dare you?
No Paladin's hide and seek?
No Paladin's hide and seek. New event in 2.1.
No, Garrett's in the audience.
Yeah, Garrett said yes. I'm not lying.
Everything's set up, everything's going good for Flashpoint as of right now. Kraken's almost charged up, but again, that hasn't really been connecting enough to make a big difference. If Prosperlogic finds one though, and it's big enough, it could, again, be game-changing. It just has to find the right moment. It's such a long windup. It's so difficult to fully connect it. That's 4,000 damage that you will take if you are inside that sphere.
And I think this is where things start to get dicey because you can see how well the Overpower did to isolate targets earlier on. But he wasn't really able to get value out of it on that point fight. Khanrad, again, a big player that Blue mentioned in this set that will decide a lot for these teams. Goes back to the Commander's Grab, finds the healing from Shoo. One of, if not the immaculate kind of, I think, quintessential Yings in all of Paladin's console history. Doing a great job on life exchange, but it has not been a good exchange of life thus far in round 2. It has gone all the way of Flashpoint here as they are at the precipice pushing and tying it up.
I mean, being able to come through, this is the hardest archway to pierce with a payload. It is so difficult to get that ground. They've got it through. Now they just have to be able to get the kills. They've got the zone. They've got the damage, but there goes Xrvii.
And I like that they committed. They hit the gas pedal, but I mean, there really wasn't much that they got from it. It's almost like Ash just went in and got killed, but Prosperlogic with the zone. iGoodlad takes advantage. Prosper gets it, and just like that, it is tied up. And look at the vocal nature.
For a second, I thought he was yelling at Elevate.
No, he just found out the Da Vinci Code. That's what he's saying. He's like, listen, do this. This is how we win. And I think that's important because Prosper and these guys sometimes do not figure it out. They didn't figure it out in game 1 on Jag. They might have figured it out here.
Like you said, this is a big turning point. 2-2 is a huge score in a map, but it's a huge map for the set. Both pretty much exactly the middle of everything that you will have from this point on, unless it doesn't go to game 5. But 2-2, whoever captures the next point has that ability to fully push it in, win the map. And it might be on the back of a 6-2-11 Dredge, or it could be coming from the 5-5-5 or 5-1-8 Ruckus or Vivian coming down as Elevate have, again, big names playing for them, players that have done incredibly well in the past. Whether or not they can actually make it work here, it's all going to come down to, I honestly think, Prosperlogic.
I mean, he got Master Riding too. Hopefully that's for a reason. I think there is an attempt here to try and get that Kraken charge. That is a very good dive, but Woosh is maybe bit off a little more than he can chew. Prosper finds the kill. It's a 2-2 trade on this point fight, but they have the Dredge, and I think with one of those front lines down, it's going to be a little bit less, I think, possible for Ruckus to stand on the point. So now a stalemate on the objective. This is slowly going to tilt the way of the Dredge. He can just delete these front lines, but the emitter is there. Shoo is healing up SJP, and 51% for Elevate still.
Just standing on the point. Ruckus is pretty much refiring here. No one else is coming through. And he's going to throw it out, and it's going to connect with nobody, but it's still going to be able to get some zone, and that is the pressure they need right now. They're going to hit the gas pedal. Legacy comes in, finds 2, and that is what you need to start off a fight.
Shield goes up, and it goes down immediately. Big hook from Legacy, and now he's going into the back line. You cannot give this man, who went 49-0 or something in the finals for Prosperlogic and his squad to win the first PS4 LAN, the Makoa on Ice Mines. He just makes you pay, and I think at this point, Elevate, I mean, they've got to be praying to more than the gods to get back to this point. The zone on Ice Mines is too drastic. It's too good. And unfortunately for them, they will not have a second chance. This is Flashpoint's point. guaranteed.
All dismounted, all killed off if things go well for Flashpoint here. Fernando barely alive, barely able to back off into the hallway, and finally gets taken down. GR had no legs to stand on. Same thing goes for SJP, as now Flashpoint are potentially going to be able to take this map. The push has started, but a lot can go wrong in the 2 minutes in the long, arduous push it is on Ice Mines.
Have they figured out the DaVinci code, or at least the Elevate code, right? Whatever version of that they were trying to discover against this triple tank and the dredge. That was what was unsuccessful in Jaguar Falls. It is now looking primed to win this game and put them in a position to advance to the finals, represent this region yet again for both Europe and PS4 against Vex Gaming tomorrow. And there's the Hxrvii. SJP doesn't want to give it up too quickly, but he goes into a very big panic state. The Kraken forces him out. There's the crossfire as well, Gore, and there's still 1:30 on the clock.
Khanrad gets rid of Goodlad, but the pressure is still on that Hxrvii. Going essentially into the wall is not going to make a big difference, but the damage afterward is finding the wall. Whirlwind a little bit too late to save anybody. It's just going to be able to top everyone off, keep them safe, keep them healthy for a little bit as the payload keeps on moving forward, but Elevate sees a lot around.
How can he survive? I mean, this Vivian, she can just walk. She's got no movement skill. I mean, as long as Prosperlogic's aim is on point, it usually is, there shouldn't be a way that she stays alive unless the illusory rift, and that is something they sacrifice. A minute left. You would expect Ying to be able to heal it, charge it back up. But I mean, they're still pushing. That didn't solve anything. That delayed the inevitable.
When you're moving forward, you don't have a lot of time to charge it back up and beat it by the end of the game. You have the Sentinels get popped. Hxrvii almost back from what we saw earlier in the round, but the kills are still good as Goodlad cleans that up. A beautiful firebomb as well onto the Ruckus. Gonna cause a lot of trouble. Percent-based damage onto a nice big tank makes things a lot easier for you, but the kills starting to roll out for Elevate. They find a comfort zone, and that should be a good zone, because if they can get some dismounts very early on this hill, it's going to make Flashpoint's job way harder. 30 seconds is not a lot of time.
And because of how successful Flashpoint were at getting this payload to about 80% of the way, it's going to mean that Elevate can't really zone as successfully without taking risks. There's still 17 seconds left on the clock, so don't hold your breath. I don't think any of these teams want to sacrifice it all here when there's not a good chance, where they know a point fight to decide game 3 is coming up. I expect a hold, although they might be able to do something. Not sure if they're really going to risk it all, and that's Hxrvii going down. I think it's going to go to one last fight on the Ice Mines.
But again, a little bit quicker than what it normally takes to get to a 3-3. 12 minutes in, because of the 2-0s that have been coming through. That is the only one that has been fully stalled in terms of a push. Showing maybe some strength from both of these teams, maybe some weaknesses out of these teams, depending on how it goes. Defense not in their nature. 3-3. A lot of teams come to Ice Mines and they draft for the point fight. They are looking for this moment. This is the only one that truly matters at the end of the map. And there's so much riding on it. Again, things went pretty well for Flashpoint after a good push, a good effort at the very beginning from Elevate.
A lot of consternation from our fans here. Not sure who to vote for as far as what they want to win. Obviously, there's clearly waiting for something to happen in terms of the team they want to go ahead. At a 3-3 stalemate, you gotta feel a little nervous. I can only imagine what the 3-3 Game 7 was like for Space Station Gaming fans and Envy fans in the earlier PC set. But console has given us a treat, as they always kind of do, Gore. They've made this tight and brought out, I think, all of the big guns that we expected them to bring on the world stage.
I mean, so much that can go right for them is gonna rely on those ults, but I didn't get to see the percentage before things switched away from the game, but Illusory Rift was not available towards the end of that round, and they had about a minute to charge it up, but there was not a lot of healing being done, not a lot of damage being done by the Ying. So you're looking at this round beginning with the potential to get it online, but it might come in a second too late. That kind of timing makes such a huge difference at the beginning of a fight, because all of that healing is so difficult to fight through. Even a Cauterize 3 is not going to make it simple for you. You have to have so much anti-heal, so much pressure applied once that's popped to make sure you can fight through it. Otherwise, much like an Inflame, you kind of just give up the fight.
2014 champions, I guess. He's a Patriots fan. Not sure if Brady's going to do it this year. Man's 41, but hey, they got a chance. They always do with Belichick. But is he going to do it this year? Is Elevate going to do it this year? Do you think this is the moment?
If there's ever a moment
this
for
is
them,
going to
right
decide
now,
a lot.
this is the one that can turn it, because again, not necessarily momentum-based teams. Both of these guys are very good at being able to wipe clean slate into the next map, but not used to being down. are Flashpoint or Elevate. Both of them have been successful, but Elevate have a little bit of a tougher path to get to this point and the console wars, so a lot that they can say will come back for them. They have that ability.
Couple of shots from the crossfire, the shield's up and it's down, and it's looking like the exact same moment, but here the Hexafire from the Ruckus does catch out a few. Gore, it's looking like Elevator charging through, but a nice response there from Goodlad, and Prosperlogic is still alive. It's just the 2 damage dealers fighting against the triple tank, and Vivian round in the corner. They're trying to push this and take game number 3, but oh boy, he claps back. He finds one. Is it enough? No. Whoosh and ElevateGR do find kills, but here's the Ashe, and she takes down Elevate.
A lot staggered out though now. Ashe going to be able to go in. The 1v1 versus game doesn't typically happen. Now the 2v1, the 3v1, and Grover left by himself. Flashpoint do not have a leg on this point.
She was 2 more shots away from the assert dominance. That would have bought 8 seconds. And Elevate have just hit the gas pedal. They don't even have the illusory rift, but they have done enough to take game 3. And we don't know if it'll last to the Patriots, but Elevate today for sure have taken one of their stars and made sure they got the advantage in this set. It is going potentially to the distance, now without Elevate having to lose 2 games before they're out.
The fortunate side of things, the same thing that worked well there for Elevate will work in the next map for Flashpoint. You get to pick as the loser, so going to where you want to drive this set.
Man,
but the problem is you're starting to thin the map pool to points where Elevate have a lot of practice on the rest of them. Ice Mines is a good way to turn it around, but I can't think of another map that they're going to be weak.
It's a little tilting to go 3-3 on Ice Mines, have it so close, and then still not make it. And of course, there's still more set to be played. It's now the European PS4 team's time to respond. Send it back to the desk and start talking about what they might do.
The triple Frontline reigns supreme, and unfortunately, my Grovey baby not going to stand tall today, but it's okay though. It's okay. Ice Mines, your trees don't really survive all that well in the ice. He
wasn't wearing the winter skin.
Wasn't wearing the winter skin. That's it. Thank you so much. Guys, I love you, man.
That was the only problem.
I really do appreciate it, man. I really do. All right, so let's begin to break this one down here.
I'm sorry.
He's here all day. So let's begin to break this one down, Blue. Reactions from that Ice Mines game.
All right, so there's a couple things I want to talk about that stood out to me in this game, and they were super important. First of all, LegCcy's hooks are amazing. He's pulling in targets that are the priority targets in that situation. I think that's what makes LegCcy one of the best situational Makoas on console. And another thing that I noticed was Flashpoint in general, they know how to use their ults. It looked like in round 2 and 3, Elevate was just throwing ults out there with no health, nothing. They weren't doing anything with their ults. It was kind of like a saving grace kind of thing, and they weren't able to do anything with those. Now,
I'm genuinely surprised that they were able to win the game, because midway through, man, you said it, Elevate just looked confused.
Yeah, the third mid was a disaster. I mean, they got 2 picks somehow, but the Nando just ulted in front of everybody inside the tunnel, and everyone else on Elevate was just like, you have fun. Like they gave him a lunchbox and told him, can you go ult into their team? Thank you.
Yeah, bye. Yeah, so here are the post-game stats now, and Elevate taking that win. SJP, SirJamesParker, the only one getting in the double-digit kill column there, but this really was a team effort that gave them the win here on Ice Mines, and they had to dig deep in order to clutch out that win. Also, look at GR, man, 102,000 damage on that Vivian. He was tearing through that, and then also you have a Fernando that's right there with him at 104,000 damage.
okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead, cousin.
The lineups on this map are super, like, they're really easy to get, especially with how close together Flashpoint was playing. Like, you could see in all their rotates on the midpoint, they would rotate into the cabin, they'd be 4 people conging through, go to the stage, they're all just in a conga line for the Nando to get that insane burst damage.
Yeah, I like the dancing, bro. I like the dancing.
I did it because the camera was off.
That's true, that's true. Oh man, we should have had the camera on you, Krez. Okay, Dredge.
Yes, so Dredge.
What's up with Dredge?
150k damage there, which is good. Ice Mines, good map for him. But this is the second time Prosper has maybe overthink in the last round in a 3-3. That's the second time he's been on Dredge in a 3-3. And he went Def Hands against Triple Tank. And Wrecker would have been the better play there. Yes, you're using Scuttle, but you have Ruckus, Khan, and Fernando, 3 big shield tanks. Ruckus can extend his life with that emitter, and the same with Khan, who can get more shielding or more healing with life exchange even. behind his shield.
Split zone quarry is going to be map 4. Blue, question, because it's something me and Krez were noticing, and I think it's just worth mentioning as well. It just seemed as if the primary fire of Dredge was just not used at all by Prosperlogic. Why is that?
It's because they want to throw out as much spam damage as they can. We're in a burst meta, so if you're throwing out a broadside, you do, you know, plus the scuttle, you're doing about 2K, somewhere around there. But you know, he's getting frags and he's doing what he needs to do. But I think the Wrecker, and another thing was he went Master Riding, but he only died 4 times in that whole entire game, and it went 3-3. That's a long match. Yes, Master Riding's really good on ice mines, but at the end of the day, maybe could you have done something else? Now, I also wouldn't go morale boost because he's missing more ults than he's getting. If I'm Prosper, you know, Frog Isle was banned out by Flashpoint. They didn't play Frog Isle at all this year, and they just played the 3 smallest maps, and I knew that there was going to be a big map coming in.
Yeah.
And it's Flashpoint's pick. So maybe I think Prosper's like, okay, I don't want to play Dredge anymore. Let's give me a hit scan. Let's give me a Kinessa. Maybe let's try to get the Victor this time. Let's ban Dredge so they don't get it. But we got to change this up.
Well, let's see if the changeup comes, because Elevate is at series point right now. They win, they will go on to face off against Vex Gaming in the console wars, representing the Xbox side. Elevate, the North American team for PS4, looking to go one step further. Now, as far as the bans go, Flashpoint have removed Khan and Sky. Meanwhile, Elevate taking out Talus and Victor.
Not a surprise to me. I think both these flankers are pretty solid on this map. You can go through lava, you can cut through the saw area, which is what we call the connector between lava and the midpoint, to pressure the people on point. And they're really good in quarry because it's a constant forced close range combat.
Vivian secured for the first pick, and you have to imagine that's a Vivian that's going to be hugging the high ground, staying up top, trying to rain down fire in case now, can Elevate go triple tank on this one, just point presence?
I wouldn't, but here's what I really like about Flashpoint taking Vivian first. You take it away from Elevate, who's played it twice already.
Yep.
And also, they knew they wanted to grab this hit scan. They banned Khan. Khan on Splitstone he's strong, of course, but he's not as strong. There's only 2 places to throw them, quote unquote, off the map. And then other than that, you need your team to be behind you if you can't get them in the lava or the fidget spinner.
Yeah. Fernando for the second pick, as well as Dredge. Does Dredge pick up? Let's see what Elevate's going to be able to do with this champion now.
The Nando gives me the thought that they're going to be looking to control quarry and looking to hold the point and then have that area next to the point to rotate over to. Dredge is okay in there. I'm not sure if they're going to be putting him in the quarry to like scuttle the ground and to just win those close range fights, or if they're going to have him up top, kind of trying to spam the people that are getting out of quarry. We'll have to see with the rest of their draft.
And we get the Grover. You're right. I keep praying the tree, man. I'm just hoping that Grover gets its love. You know, you gotta appreciate basically a character that is a living tree. It's just too awesome. And Grok is in play finally. You have Inara, you got Grok. Blue, you seem pretty excited about that one.
I told you, there's going to be Grok. If he's not banned,
there's going to be a Grok.
Played. And Shoo has been practicing. He's been playing Grok since the very beginning of Grok days, so he knows he's going to flex from high to low with that ultimate on the high ground to the low ground. What I want to see here from Flashpoint is I want to see something. I either want to see them, if Vivian is going to Goodlad, I want to see a sniper from Prosper take care of that Dredge from long distance, or a Willow for Prosper. I was also going to say a flank. Maybe you put Prosper on the Vivian, who he can play it, and give Goodlad something like an Androxus.
Which we haven't seen yet.
No, we have not seen him at all.
You were the one calling it, and we haven't seen it yet. The draft is complete. You had Ash on the Flashpoint side. Elevate picked up Ying. We got Grok in here. What do you think's going to happen, Kresnik? I'll start with you.
I think the Grok and Dredge pressure is going to help them win the quarry area, and I think it's going to be really good into the ruckus and not let them get away with the stuff that he wanted to.
Blue?
I'm going to go with Flashpoint here. I like their draft a little bit more better because it's comfort picks. You got comfort picks on Elevate, but Flashpoint's been playing better this season.
Well, let's see if Flashpoint can force this one into a Game 5, or will Elevate shut it out right here? Let's send it back over to your casters for Splitstone Quarry.
Gore, initial thoughts, man. I think Flashpoint feel the pressure. It is do or die here. Go home back to Europe, or seize the moment and force a game 5. Who do you got your money on?
I mean, Grok came through. I have to kind of bet on Grok, honestly. I think
out,
I'm leaning over towards Elevate because I have seen their Grok before. I have seen what it can accomplish, and I can see what it can change. I haven't seen it on Splitstone Quarry, though. That is where things will have a wrench thrown in them. That's where Flashpoint can maybe try to pick it apart, because this is not exactly a known Grok map, but you finally get it in your draft.
But you know, I think one thing that they've done that I find to be very successful here is we do see the treacherous ground Anar from Whoosh, so that's gonna apply a lot of pressure if they do let him get to the back line. It's gonna be the fact that you have this Vivian finally on the side of Flashpoint. And I think that's been a big key to Elevate having success. They've had these big tank lineups, but they've also had the Vivian, and she does so much damage, and she's a great counter to the shields.
Being able to burn them down incredibly fast, sap rounds pays so much dividends into that. And you have the Willow, something we haven't gotten to see from consoles, not even a lot today in general. Dead Zone applies so much pressure to someone like an Inara. Stops Ying from having such a great performance because 100% anti-heal. You have no form of healing coming in from that Ying. It creates so much space for you, and it's a lot of zone control.
Nice stuff here coming through from Flashpoint. LeGC on the high ground. And still firing the rockets away. He doesn't have his next charge. That's fine for the burst when he wants it. On the backside, though, you see the Grok already used the Ghost Walk. This is a very precarious spot, and you can see it. Xrvii and the LeGC, they're going to find themselves finding a couple of kills, but a little bit of a pause game there. Just want to make sure everything technically on their side is looking good, feeling good. With the lights on them and the lights on us, we get a chance to kind of start off strong. And my bigger point, like I said, was the Vivian finally on the side of Flashpoint. I feel like it's just been such a strong point of contention in pressuring not only Flashpoint's roster, but taking away a pick that would have been so good against the Fernando Shield, against the Ruckus emitter, and against the Makoa Shell Shield and things like that.
And very good at stopping Grok from being able to get off again. Like you're seeing not Shoo play the Grok. He has a impeccable healer Grok, but it is not going to be healing. It is all going to be focused on damage. GR piloting this one around, but that shield, whenever she throws up her own shield for Vivian, it's going to be able to block that from bouncing around either to her or away from her, depending on when it's going to be able to go up. So it stops his pressure, his damage from being just a little bit more than it could be. Might not be enough to be able to stop it all, but I think it's going to give him a leg up.
And so far, it didn't seem to be working. The way they were trying to take that right side on the map, at least from our perspective, following along with Flashpoint, near the grinder. I feel like they need to maybe send Grok somewhere else, but if that's what makes it awkward on Splitstone, there's not really like the perfect spot for Grok. I mean, he usually is better on these smaller maps or clearly focused line of, direct line sight maps, so we can just guarantee a bunch of shot pulses. But there are a lot of cubbies, a lot of corners in Splitstone, and so it's gonna really be about the player if they can make this one successful.
A whole lot that can go right, but Elevate, again, have a little bit of momentum riding behind them right here. It's not easy to go 3-3 on Ice Mines, lose, and then come back in feeling good, although no one looks too distraught on the side of Flashpoint. Elevate, though, conversations are up, flaring, making sure things are going ahead, especially because that point was not going their way. A lot that was going wrong for them. Pushed out, and Nara just could not stand anywhere there. Prosperlogic on the Willow was pressuring them out so hard. They didn't really have a place to go. They didn't have a place that felt like home. And with Inara, if you're not able to stand on the point, you don't know where to go.
No, you certainly don't. A little bit of downtime here as we continue this set. It's 2-1 right now, and I think if you're just joining us, it's good to set the stage. Flashpoint have been the European contender for PS4, and in the console wars for Paladins, it's PS4 versus Xbox. Xbox already had their competitor advance to the finals. That was Vexed. They dethroned the kings of the last World Championship for console wars, and also the previous LAN, the Summer LAN, and now the only other team to have won a LAN on the PS4 side is Flashpoint, who are down by a game. If this Splitstone Quarry goes the way of the gentleman you see right there, Elevate and his squad, Shoo and SirJamesParker, they will move on to the finals. They will knock out the PS4 European representatives. And this will be just a historic event all around, because it would be 2 upsets essentially on both days.
A lot that can be changed. I mean, at this point, either of these teams, I think, have their name in the hat for a championship, because Flashpoint, not only have they done it in the past, but during the summer LAN, Elevate was the team that was able to come through, only stopped by Onslaught. And with Onslaught out of the picture, I think a lot of these teams are starting to look at that trophy a little bit closer, maybe closer to their hands, closer to being in their possession. MVPs that we have all around, a lot of the players that have made names for themselves through the last few console lands are no longer in that equation.
Not sure if we can go back to that shot. Production didn't know, but the man sitting front stage with his arms wide out was actually the illustrious, the infamous, damn, the famous Ballin' Barry. I don't know if we can get that shot back, but to show the fans the face to the name that we have talked so much about. And there is Skeppy and Tay saying hello. The boys, of course, not able to make the finals this time around, but trying their best to support the rest of the console scene. And there he is on the far right. You just keep going right. The man, the legend, Ballin' Barry. You got to give credit to, you know, when credit is due, and he definitely is due his credit. Ballin' Barry done so much for the scene. We thank you, Barry. We thank you. We actually had a joke. What if his name wasn't Barry? It was like Greg, you know, Ballin' Barry, but, you know, we're kind of wondering that. We'll have to ponder, of course, until we get the interview with him, which we should, but let's send it back to the desk. A little bit of pausing still going on, so we'll send it back to them for now.
Or what if his name was Steve?
And Steve doesn't have a ring to it.
Yeah, it's not as funny.
No, it doesn't. Really, Steve? Ballin' Steve?
Ballin' Steve.
But you have to say it with a lot of emphasis. You have to go Steve. Yeah, you can't just
No, you
can't say Steve without the emphasis.
Guys, his name's not Barry. I'm sorry.
Don't say that.
Don't
ruin my dream.
Don't say
Don't
that.
crush it.
His name's Barry in our hearts,
His
okay,
name
Blue?
is Barry till the day he
I
dies.
didn't finish. It's not Barry with an E. It might be Barry with an A.
Okay, that's Bear
So
Rock.
it's
No,
Barry.
he plays over there on Smite.
So where's the E?
He's thinking Barry
How do you
or
get
Barry.
E with an A?
It's like, I don't know what's going on here. Is his name Steve or not?
It's not Steve.
I think like usual, Blue just said something and hoped it worked out.
Yeah, that's
basically what
that's exactly what Blue just did. I totally agree. So we did have a reset. We are getting ready to go in just a little bit. For now, though, you guys are stuck with us for the time being until we get back into the action here.
Yeah.
So nothing's really going to change all that much. It's just remaking the lobby. So yeah, I mean, we kind of dived into the game a little quickly. But I want to recap what we saw in the draft and what we could expect potentially in this game on Splitstone. Blue, you're the expert here on the console side of things. You still feel, I believe you picked Flashpoint.
I still got Flashpoint, especially after seeing who's playing the Grok. You would think when they picked the Grok, I was like, okay, this is a shoe pick here. They're going to take maybe another support, of course, on Splitstone and give it to ElevateGR, who can play support. But it's him on Grok this time, and he's still a great player when he's playing Grok.
But it's just not the best.
But it's not Shu, and the reason is because Elevate isn't better on Ying than Shu is. They're both good on Ying, but Shu's the better Ying, so they're going to put him in that position. He's the better Grok and Ying, but
yeah.
GR's
So I have a genuine question here that I do want to know. Is his name ElevateGR or GR?
So when he played for Elevate, before he was on Xbox, it was GR Crazy.
Okay, so now
he had to
he's-
make a PlayStation account.
Okay. Because for a moment I was like just losing my mind. Like, what are the chances? Over to you guys.
Yeah.
For the insanity, let's get into this game.
You mean beyond the name changes for console that we have to experience? Not only the roster swaps, but the region swaps, and then the name
And
changes.
the console swaps.
You know, it's really awesome. We love that about our job, keeping track of all of the madness that goes on. Insanity was a good word. But it's time to get back into the insanity on Splitstone Quarry. A little bit of respite there, but hopefully you guys are back in the action. iGoodlad starting things off and finding GR Crazy, who's now ElevateGR, and iGoodlad finding a double kill, and this Vivian is looking better and better. And I think this is a big pick for them heading into this game, and of course the next game if they are able to win.
I mean, honestly, it feels like deja vu. It's pretty much the exact same kind of fight that came out of Flashpoint the first time around, except maybe we don't see Prosperlogic up in their face as much as he was last time around. The Willow hovering a little bit further back, but the control all still in their favor. That is going to be 69% installed, but they have complete control of the low ground, and no one on the high ground from Elevate really making a difference.
Big time stuff here from both teams. I mean, they've battled this far. It's been hard fought either way, and so you can't really get mad whoever takes this set. Both great competitors, but 90% now for Flashpoint. They are in control. Shortcut used actually for SJP. It's getting expansive vault just for no reason, really. Maybe a little bit of vision. I'm not going to doubt that as well. It's a great level 1 card if you are a new Dredge player. And 27% now for Elevate. They have got control. They've got Dredge on the high ground. They are broadsiding that right side near lava and making sure that TheLgcy cannot get back in with the ruckus.
Unfortunate angle to try and fight out. Prosperlogic has the Fade Flight popped. He's up in the air. He's getting a lot of damage, but he's not finding any kills, and that's going to be the big issue with it. Fade Flight with no kills. It's no difference, but it gets the space they need, and Elevate just a step up.
Elevate. He tried to elevate right there, but he, although was successful, wasn't able to save his teammate. And I think this is, again, going down to the pressure that Vivian adds. You have a great lineup that can contend with anybody here. The Willow is a good burst AoE damage character and forces the Inara back because of the dead zone. You've got Ruckus, who's got burst as well. You've got Ashe, who's got a ton of sustain and a great cauterize application. And Grover, I mean, like he doesn't do damage. He's a great damage flex on support, but the Vivian just adds that extra level, and I think that's what Elevate are having a hard time dealing with.
All the pressure that's coming out. There's going to be a Kraken, but it's not going to be able to find anything. Does find the payload, but no one's standing on it. No damage going to be thrown out there. Khanrad picks up 2 for himself, but it's not going to be enough to stop this payload moving forward. And Prosperlogic's getting up in his face, Seedling in the corner. You're going to take some damage, but is it going to go through the shield? There it is.
Who would have thought plants were so scary? Maybe Rick Moranis back in the day.
A lot of nightmares I'm sure he can have.
That's right. I'm very excited about, and we were just talking about musicals as well, or just bringing it all back and sewing it up together. Nice seismic crash here, and it's going to put Xrvii in an interesting spot. He's crippled as well. And now you see Prosperlogic going up into the air. 1:05 left. This set is continuing to just kind of last, isn't it? These teams have some very sustained compositions and no one able to find that crucial pick yet. But if the Grok goes down, that might be it. SJP finds a couple, and actually he finds a triple kill here. And he's looking for a quadra. SJP maybe sends it, and it is essentially a delayed quadra kill for the captain of the Abyss. And Prosper is going to go down thanks to Kyle Khanrad's pressure. So that should hold them off for now.
This payload is in a precarious spot, mainly because 30 seconds, it's still plenty of time to be able to get there, get overtime, but it is going to be a very dangerous overtime, and if Elevate can make even a slight hold, they should be able to find everyone either low or dead by the time they can touch down on it, although someone's standing over there right now, being able to at least get a little bit of point of contention, but Inara making sure to wall him off, push him back.
You know, I don't know how I feel about the pressure. I think if you're going to go for the Inara, you kind of got to fully commit, right? And they wait, and there's the Earthen Guard, there's the Illusory Rift. At least you get an ultimate off of it. Hexafire could have been used, but they didn't want to contribute ultimates back, and so I think they're going to just be content with letting this tie up. I mean, once the wall goes down, once the Earthen Guard goes down, that's when you Hexafire. He didn't do it, they died, and they say, okay, let's just start over again.
Splitstone Quarry, very similar to some of our other long maps. Very notoriously difficult to find a full conversion on. A lot of the times you get to see that it's either a team that is either outclassed or a team that is outcrapped. This time around, it's going to go 1-1. But the beginning of the map, the beginning of every fight is going to look a lot like this if you're Flashpoint. At least if you're GoodLad, every single point, that is a dream. And everyone just stands right.
You know, Gore, what I love about this, and the reason I'm going to keep harping on this Vivian, is that I really like it instead of the Tyra, which iGoodlad had on the Ice Mines game. But what happens with Vivian is that not only is she better at doing that, shredding the shields with Sapper rounds. It's like Cauterize, it's like Death and Taxes, but the Wrecker version. She gets 150% at base. She has the personal shield. So if Fernando gets up close, she can absorb a couple of shots and move away. There's a big Kraken, but it still doesn't find anything. I cannot believe it. We have yet to see a Kraken land.
And at least gets a lot of zone. It pushes back Flashpoint as much as he can. That's going to be 3 clean kills picked up for Elevate. Timbers was used, Kraken was used, and the Illusory Rift still trying to charge back up. But they have a Seismic Crash and Immortal still in there. there. Pocket 57%. This is complete control for Elevate, unless this Fade Flight from Prosperlogic, if he pops it, can do something.
That's probably all they needed, though, Gore. I mean, just the ability to push everybody back. He's going way up, trying to hit his head on the skybox. If he could burst down this rock, that would be huge, but he waits, and he waits too long, and that's when the Ghost Walk hits. The Immortal coming through as well. All the tanks on the point, and this is where Prosperlogic needs an elimination because he can get those cooldowns reset. But Dredge back on the objective. SJP getting pushed back. He needs one more shot. He needs another one now, and it's going to be TheLgcy who cleans it up. He doesn't have the assert dominance, so Prosper has to go big or potentially go home here. They are fighting tooth and nail. He's got one more shot to do it. iGoodlad gets a double. iGoodlad gets a triple. And now Elevate are actually 1v1, it looks like, on the objective, and xWooosh is going to just back on out of there. He's like, I don't want none of that.
I do not blame him. Do not take a fight against a Vivian after a triple kill at that, especially if you're Ying. Your damage is not going to be enough. Your healing will not keep you alive through that. And this is the angle they need to play, though. 99%, 6th man on the points. Flashpoint cannot leave the objective at risk of losing, and right now they're just getting eviscerated.
And you know what? It did delay the inevitable because the first ultimates used mean that they have them back first again. They lost that middle fight where ultimates were used on the side of Flashpoint, but they didn't get two in this round. And when you have to stand on the point, Dredge gets a whole lot better. They take all the brunt of that scuttle damage and the Pirate of the Abyss's pressure. And it's Elevate now 2-1 here on Splitstone.
There's a lot on Flashpoint's composition that does not feel very defensive. They have a couple things going for them, the 2 walking turrets in Ruckus and Vivian, but a lot of that can be changed just with a snap from Elevate. Unfortunately, they lose their Anar early on. They lose pretty much the only person who's going to hover around and focus on that payload. Now with a few more kills coming through, 3 more, maybe 4 more here with a full potential wipe coming out from Elevate. A beautiful stagger, and that is going to make sure that this timer burns down a little bit faster for Flashpoint.
Yeah. And I think this is an interesting game. It really could go either way for me, Gore. I think SJP has done really well in the Dredge. I actually like his decision-making. I thought that Kraken, although it's surprised it didn't find anyone there, it zoned them back well. And that's what they need here on Splitstone. Just control of space is what you'll see in high-level console, high-level PC. It's about controlling space. And a couple of nice shots from the high ground, and that's something that's going to be very hard for Elevate to take away from Flashpoint here.
Rampage.
A good zone, good control. They push the line of scrimmage pretty much to the middle of the map. They're going to fall back, but I mean, everything in favor of Flashpoint as of right now.
As of now.
And again, going 2-2, 3-3 on this map. Not uncommon, not very easy to get this payload to go through, but you can kind of feel Elevate testing the waters, figuring out how they want to approach this. This is a very awkward angle for them to be trying to fight at, though. Not a lot of control, and even worse if you're Dredge. Again, the arc of a grenade like this is so difficult to get when you're looking up to try and land in the right spot, but he's still managing to hit a lot of damage.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, he's doing a great job of it, right? I mean, it is difficult, but he is somehow managing it very well. ElevateGR finds a kill, and that's Prosperlogic. So Blaster not traded for Blaster. That's just to support fragging out, and that's what Brock will bring to the table. 25 seconds now on Splitstone. Elevate 2-1. Pushing this through would mean that they have a chance to go ahead and make the finals. Give us our essentially second upset of this Paladins Console Wars 2018 at Hi-Rez Expo. But with that kill, I don't know if they're going to be able to do it here.
A lot of stall for Nano and Nara, both around though. Payload definitely going into overtime, but the kills are not going their way. They get rid of Prosper though, they lose Shoo, and I think honestly that loses them the ability to push. No healer means your front lines are dead, and that is going to be looking good for Xrvii, looking good for Goodlad, but that is 5 ults available coming into this for Elevate. Whirlwind was just used. They don't have that kind of reset heal now on the side of Flashpoint.
Look who's on a 16 streak too. I mean, Goodlad and this Viv. Maybe take a look at the loadout as well when we get a chance. One step ahead, that's a basically standard card now with Vivian. It's just so good. 30% movement speed with only level 5. You don't have a lot of champions like that who can go into it as easily as she can because she is really just a walking weapon. We said what champions would succeed when they were completely silenced by a Torvald Nullify? Vivian's basically the same champion. I mean, you can't put the shield up, but everything else you can do.
The Contingency 4 as the Scapegoat 3 combination really is going to help her out as well. That's part of the reason Goodlad's got that 16 streak. Not only increasing the shield's health, but increasing how much it's going to be able to take from him in order to make sure he stays alive a little bit longer. But it all depends on his performance. Sentinels are out in the air. Both of them still alive while he's 76%. And no big Kraken.
Another Kraken just absolutely whipped. And that, unlike the last one, was not really when there was pressure on the right side. I think it was just an attempt, maybe a thought, like maybe they'll push right, and they didn't. And I think Prosperlogic went high, and he went over there onto the Fateful Light. If he can find this, this is huge, and he can. Big kill there, double kill for Prosper, and a big dead zone. And that's what Willow needs, a couple of kills to reset the cooldowns with those cards. Just believe in her loadout. Sprite Fly giving her the damage reduction, and I think Legacy now is ready to zone. If they don't have any answer on Elevate, and they do, a lot of ults, they're going to be in trouble.
They're going to be coming around. Inara has been waiting patiently. Seismic Crash going to come through, but it's not going to stun anybody. It's not going to pick up anything for them, but Illusory Rift pop Dredge off the board. Hxrvii finds a kill, and Control is still in favor. Tempest flying through the air looking for another kill, but no one's following up Flashpoint.
And this is what a Willow dreams of. Nobody looking at her in the Fae Flight, the Fae Wand, and just the Fae in general can go ahead and steal the show. Prosper on a 7 streak. iGoodlad on a 21 streak. And this Vivian and Flashpoint are not out of it yet. 1 point away now from tying it up and sending it to a best of 5.
I have to give a ton of credit to Grok throughout all of that. The healing coming down from Flashpoint that they have in that engagement. So much should go wrong. So many ults that could just tie the end of it. But Seismic Crash isn't big enough. You have the Illusory Rift and the Tempest, but the healing and the damage coming from them are not enough to change the pace of the game. And now that 22 streak burning for the tree is looking good.
Look at this. I mean, the snowball hasn't stopped. Score, they got 2 kills. It's 10 seconds till Inara's back. They're about to kill Khanrad. If they get this kill, it could be over. Oh man, luckily he makes it back to base, so they will have at least a front line to stabilize here and give Dredge some space to operate around. Khanrad, blue set, he's gonna be important. Well, he better be really important here because they are without their full squad, just narrowly getting back as the Inara. Flashpoint, 1 minute and 34, but they are 90% of the way pushed here on Splitstone, and Prosperlogic hits the gas pedal with the ult.
The Fae Flight going through, doesn't get the kill though, misses the last shot. That might come back to bite them, but they get rid of the Inara. They're about to get rid of Khanrad. They're pushing it forward, and they push it in.
Oh my God, it surprises everyone. I mean, Elevate just can't sustain. That was so good by Flashpoint to just steal that game away. It was off an incredible Fae Flight from Prosperlogic, a missed Kraken that tried to recreate round 2, and it was nothing like that in round 3. And of course, I think of Vivian that got 25 eliminations in a row.
Vivian definitely making a big difference, but again, shout outs to the healing coming down. Flashpoint staying alive as long as they can, but admittedly, it's going to game 5. That's what matters most right now.
Well, I said I did 7. I'm down for 12. I got it. Look at me. Let's send it back to the desk. This is fun.
You just see the misery in Rain Day's face. Welcome back to the Alienware Analyst Desk, folks. Well, here's the thing. All right, you've done 7, right? And now we're doing 12. And then, well, what happens to me then? I think I've done, what is it? I can't do math, like 17 at this point. So
and potentially 5 more.
And potentially 5 more with our college matchup coming up. So who really gets the break here, you know?
Me next set.
Yeah, hate you. So, moving forward. Blue, you said you wanted it. You said it was going to happen. That we were going to go to a game 5. My friend, you are the console messiah. You have thus predicted this. You have the holy controller.
I think that's what's happening here. Prosper, he plays bad in a game. Then he plays good. Then he plays bad. Then he plays good. He's like, you know what? We need blue up there, you know.
Okay, so this is all just a ploy for Blue to get up on the stage.
Look, I may have given him a cold snap Furia, okay?
Sounds like he's writing his fan fiction about himself right
really?
now. And then they're like, Blue, we need you to come save us, please.
Blue, save us, yay. Yes, that's it. Well, what we need to save us right now are some statistics, okay? So let's check out the Axis Replay post-game stats. And, well, Vivian, not bad. and then you also have this Willow Prosperlogic, man, at the end of that one, really turned up. And that's it. Brain Day said it. That's what you want. That's like a Willow's dream, what what was going on in that game, everything was working out for him.
Well, Flashpoint's draft. Oh,
no, you can go.
Flashpoint's draft there was just outstanding. They banned Khan, leaving them the dominant hit scan and Vivian on this map. But it also allowed Elevate to be fooled into taking the Grok, which they wanted to so badly. So then they just gave Prosper Willow, which he played a tremendous amount in the season. And I said I wanted to see him either go a sniper. Willow's a sniper in my eyes. She can push into you too.
Yeah, she still does that like spam roll. One thing is they didn't really have a way to punish the Vivian and the Willow. They had, you know, the Grok and the Dredge, and that doesn't really, even if they take Quarry, they have to basically own that, and they can't really push out. It's going to have to come with cycling on point after that, and they weren't even really winning Quarry.
It also doesn't help that Dredge has not hit a single ult from anyone.
It's true.
Yeah, I know. It's just a bunch of tiny Krakens all over the place. More like guppies, you know? No one wants a guppy.
Both these teams ordered one of those things as sea monkeys. You pour in those little...
Yeah, little you put it in the water, you shake it up, and then that was just a freaky thing as a child. You know that? They had it in my like 2nd grade class, and I was so confused by what was going on. I just couldn't handle it. But what I need to handle right now, because I got to make this throw, it's SteelSeries MVP. Let's see who it's gonna be. And it will be TheGoodlad on the Vivian. A 5.6 KDA, 96,000 damage, and a whole bunch of kills. That was a good showing for Vivian there. Kind of like the perfect setup, really, for Vivian. Just going around the map, putting down shots wherever they want, wherever he wants, and everyone's just standing still because they really couldn't do anything to get close to him.
Exactly. Goodlad is the guy who created the Vivian meta, I would say, and he plays it very well. He'll sit up top with Willow, kind of babysit him, and then once there's one pick from Elevate, maybe even two, he's just going to jump down there and walk right at you with a shield and a big old machine gun.
Yeah, and what, it has 70 bullets in it, right? That's just a lot of ammo that you're doing. He's just charging straight at you, full clipping it, right? Good stuff there from Goodlad. But now we go to game 5. I'm excited for this one.
Pressure's on.
That's right. The winner will go on the face-off against Vex Gaming. Your representatives from the Xbox European region as well. And it's been back and forth, man. It's Elevate, and Flashpoint, and Elevate, now Flashpoint. Betting Man says Elevate.
Yeah, they're feeling confident. They're like, the numbers don't lie. I mean, we're going to take this.
Yeah, the numbers don't lie here. I think that's where we settle. You know, we don't need any logic. We don't need any analyzing. Blue, you want to analyze something?
I think a big part of this is going to come down to what map.
Yeah, that's fair.
The reason is because you went 3 small, tight, contested maps, and Flashpoint banned Frog Isle. They didn't play it all season, and Elevate, I don't think they knew Flashpoint played Splitstone so well.
All right, a map 5 will be Ascension Peak. Here we go.
I'm surprised to see that. I mean, it is console, so I'm not as up to date, but I'm surprised to see Talus banned on Ascension. I feel like there's so much distance you can put between yourself and the flankers that, like, Eevee maybe can make it up. Xin can do, like, his crazy Blade Dance 5 off an edge and go flying, but Talus really, outside of his ult, can't make up that distance. Ooh.
So the Vivian is going to go, and typically that 4th ban has kind of been a big indicator of where this game is going. It was a lot of Grok earlier. Now we get the Vivian. Interesting.
I think they wanted to force Elevate into the Dredge. Dredge hasn't worked out for anybody in this set. You get a lot of damage, they've been getting a lot of kills, but it hasn't really successfully led to a victory. And getting rid of the Vivian, Elevate first picked that both times they were first pick. They took it each time, and they ran the triple tank meta. Ascension Peak on console is actually a really good triple tank map that no one knows about. The problem when it comes down to 5-game sets like this is what happened last game. Splitstone. Flashpoint's really good on the map, but Elevate didn't know that because both these teams, they're 2-0ing their opponents during the season.
Yeah.
So there's not much to study, especially when Flashpoint is picking the same map 6 weeks in a row and 2-0ing.
They're really not, they're not showing their hand, right? Well, it all comes down to this. It's a best of 1 at this time, and Ruckus and Fernando were locked in for Flashpoint. He got Khan, Makoa, and Grover. for Elevate.
I find this kind of funny that Vivian gets banned and then 4 shield tanks go immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah, if Saparounce is off the field, everyone's just like, we can do whatever we want now, get whatever you want.
Freedom!
Yeah, exactly.
Everyone's so happy.
Yeah, these two teams, I told you, they're the ones who kind of create the metas, and everyone tries to emulate what these teams and these players are doing. So they have that big brain IQ, as we would call it. So there you go.
And the hunt
Tyra.
is on.
So
It's on.
The last rifle character left.
they're preparing for that triple tank. They don't want this to happen again.
That's a lot of damage. Leanne and Tyra also, that's some confirms as well. That's just a ton.
And guess who's going to be playing the Leanne?
Prosperlogic.
Exactly.
The best,
Some would say best Leon.
Best Leon.
Yeah, on console in the world.
That's right. Summerland MVP.
I don't know. Bonker wants to play us. All we got to do is win one match. So
Oh, we're going to talk about that now.
if his Leanne beats the PC Leanne,
Then maybe he could take the credit, take the top prize. We'll see. Anything is possible here at HRX.
Wait
now we're gonna get the barrack.
I just hope you lads.
There goes your triple tank.
This screams they want to win in the early game to me. Because once the wreckers are online, it's going to be a lot harder.
And the Grok.
oh, this,
What if you get another tank?
this is rough. You have a
support.
barrack and a Grok going into a Tyra, so
I was gonna say, be risky, Flashpoint. No support.
you have a Fernando and a Ruckus who, you know, the missiles and the fireball can take care of this Grok totem, as well as the Grover, and
the fireball.
yeah, exactly. Stack the fireball on
Okay.
this triple tank.
This is it. I need a prediction. Just give me a name. Who is gonna face Vex Gaming in the console wars tomorrow?
Tyra and fireball, I'm liking Flashpoint. I don't like this draft
Okay.
from
If
Elevate.
Flashpoint keep their distance and keep poking with the comp that they have, I think they can take it.
All right, so the desk says Flashpoint. Let's see if that's going to be the case, or will the North American squad Elevate make it to the finals? It's go time, baby. Game 5, let's send it over to your casters. Gormizer, Rain Day, take it away.
Thanks, Golden Boy. And the question, I've been singing this song all morning. You know, will Elevate all this money? Oh, man,
I just heard a boo.
Yeah.
I believe it came from my left.
Because Alex sucks and he likes space whales. Again, if you
It's
don't...
been determined that they are narwhals, but they're space whales as well.
Well, yeah.
Is it both or is it?
I just speak Golden Boy's language. It's a brand new. It's made up every day. And then we find that sometimes it even changes as well.
Has begun.
But I'm excited for this because, you know, I think console has brought us a ton of great action over the years, and this has been an incredible year of console. It's culminating here as well for the semifinals. One of these teams is going to be successful, and that's a good start to it. A really big firing line battle shout. Although they lose the first kill, Khanrad trades back out onto Xrvii, and I think this is going to go the way of Elevate, at least to start. They're backing off.
GoodLad looking for potentially big kills on the side, but he's going to get pushed back, or at least he's going to retreat as he's going to lose the high ground. And this is actually a really difficult spot to earn back, I think, if a team takes it over. But Elevate kind of foregone it as well. They're looking more towards the objective, but it's 57 to 45. They're trying to play catch up here for what Flashpoint has been able to apply. And now they're starting to group up, which is perfect for a firebomb, perfect for a Tyra.
And I think this is an important part of this kind of map where you find these little angles around that statue, and that's a really good use of the loadout card. He should have had a dash that fast, but he is running a card in his loadout that resets his dash based on the amount of times that he hits somebody. It's at level 5 as well. Every time he hits somebody with Valor, he's going to get that dash back. Beautiful shield, the barricade just in time, but a 749 headshot will still apply some damage. He's going to fight through this, but there is nothing to be gained. And that is going to be Elevate's first objective here on Ascension Peak.
Everything that is going right for him is completely in control. 96%, 99, and that's going to be a clean capture. I mean, the fight that you need with the way things have been going. 100% charged on a Hex of Fire. Ults are coming online, but I mean, that barricade stopping the alignment, everything that has come through on the side of Flashpoint has just been slightly delayed, slightly behind where it needs to be. And it feels like that's kind of the way the game is going. There's going to be an Immortal, but I'm not sure it's going to be enough. Xrvii's going to be able to pick up a kill, but can LeGC live through this?
I mean, but you know, I'm going to counter back to what Blue was saying. He doesn't like the fact that this draft came out, and that was your round 1. That was your early kill, no, you know, no cauterized wrecker. Like, it's only going to get worse. don't know if I like that. I think there's going to be a lot of threats on the board, and I think Flashpoint, if Prosperlogic plays Leon to the way that we know he can, is going to be able to pop off.
It's going to be a warm-up period, right? He's spent a couple games not on Leon. He's been bouncing back and forth between this hit scan, where he played phenomenally earlier, and a blaster. Not something that's easy to do, but there's a Tempest rushing at your face, a flying rock, a scary sight to see, and it's going to be able to help find a couple kills on the side. Double kill for GR,
wow.
But 3 kills picked up for Elevate.
And that's big. If they can push this through early, that is their only hope, I think, of just holding down Flashpoint's damage. We know that the Fernando is going to be successful eventually. But if the Leon and the Ruckus and the Tyra are slow to the starting line, you know, they may be slow to the finish. These maps don't necessarily last long. If you get this, it's a huge advantage. They've already pushed for the Tempest. It's 30% counting, but they have 4 big boy ultimates here. And the first one is launched. It's the Dome Shield from Barrack. Everyone huddling in, and those Tempest little lightning staff rockets are just doing so much damage. And I think at this point, you have to say that Elevate have found their early game. They have found their success. They have turned this thing upside down, and Flashpoint, despite a good draft eventually, may not even get to that eventually.
Comeback mechanic will be enabled for Flashpoint this time around, but they have a lot of work to put in if they want to be able to make it do anything for them. They were able to get 93%. They were close to control that last round, but again, 3 front lines means 3 difficult to kill champions on board.
Yeah.
You now have 2 supports technically behind him. Even though GR is going for the damage, he can still throw down the totem, help keep them alive. But it's 2-0-9. Shoo, who has been able to put so much in their favor. And there were, what, 5 kills on the side of Flashpoint?
Yeah, I mean, 0 kills, but, you know, that's what you expect with the Grover, with the Grok. You just have to buy your time. You have to let them get that win, and I think they save a good amount of ultimates there. And they actually don't spend any, so they're knowing that this is the point fight that's going to determine it all. Elevate fighting for a chance at the World Championship here for the console wars. But now Xrvii comes in, Hexafire at the ready. He's going to find damage, but Shoo is going to take him down. Prosperlogic, though, finds one of the other healers, and now Woosh could be in trouble. He's going to slide, and he's going to get that shell spin to safety, and he gets the Blossom heal as well. The Enlightenment comes through, but it won't count. Woosh finds the kill, but here's LeGacy with a huge fireball, and that may turn things around.
I mean, he's standing one-man army, ends up fighting even more, finds another, is going to be able to keep going, had Immortal, but he's not going to pop it. Save that for the team, and now you can tag out, but tagging out to Xrvii, everyone else is having no impact versus what LeGacy was able to come through. Part of the reason he was so good in the spring was his ability in the very last game to have such a stellar performance, but the rest of the team has to step up to make sure they can control it, because right now this is Elevate's game.
Yeah, and if they had a Tempest, that would be bad, but all the ultimates were used on the side of Flashpoint. They have an Immortal. That's going to buy space. That's going to help the Crossfire get damage. Who are they going for? It looks like they want the Grover, but they can't quite get him. Shoo makes it out with a Vine. Nice Firebomb as well. Khanrad finds the return kill, and there's Woosh. Wooshing away, but Prosperlogic, can he find the kills? Woosh with a double, and this beefy composition from the side of Elevate may just be the one to grab point 3 and send them to the finals.
Everything they need is right in front of them. They just have one more hill, literally, to climb for things to go their way. Looking for the 4-0. Flashpoint have no ults available. They're looking at charging them up, but they have a long way to go, and you need this. Where was this 30 seconds ago?
That's
You're
right.
looking so good at the very beginning of the defense. A triple kill for Xrvii, but it's too late.
It is too late, and here's the thing. I think Flashpoint have to start getting momentum and keep it now if they want a chance. Because right now, I mean, Elevate, by and large, have played this composition better than Flashpoint have. Xrvii, let's look at the KDAs. I think that was some of the first kills he's gotten all game. 6 and 7. Wow. So he has actually contributed about 3. He had about 3 and 7 there, but Prosperlogic with only 2 kills. And on the Leon, which they have worked so hard to get, and obviously they are counting on him to perform. That is not a good look starting out this point.
Tiff is going to get popped. He goes up in the air, but Xrvii going to be able to take him down. This is a beautiful hold on this corner, and like you had said, if they can prolong this game, it gets better for Flashpoint, but things are not going their way. They lose LeGacy. They're getting pushed back. A beautiful hook is going to put Xrvii in a bad spot. Now the payload's going to start rolling again.
But they're trading 2 for 1, and that is in favor of the beefier composition because they have more sustain. They have bigger tanks, and that's what they need. 749 with the Hunter's Mark. They need to set up the viable champions to go to. Why push that hard? Prosperlogic maybe biting off more than he can chew, but at this time, there can be no mistakes. They are 1 point away. Flashpoint they cannot make any more mistakes score. And, you know, I don't know if they're going to figure it out in time. I think Elevate looked primed in my book to take the set.
I mean, a minute left. There's still plenty of time, like you had said during the last round.
Big
Three huge ults and a big hook to start things off. They're coming around the corner. They are opening up the door, and that's going to be a hexafire right in his face.
They're betting ults, and there's the Prosperlogic anti-heal they so needed. Look at this group running at Flashpoint. EU PS4 is decimated right now. Elevate look primed and ready to go to the finals, punch their ticket to a chance at claiming the Console Wars Championship.
They're coming through, 25 seconds left. They still have overtime to fight. They still have ults to use, and that is just going to be a yeet off the side to keep control.
Prosperlogic, though, finds a return kill, and maybe that's enough. Khanrad does get rid of the Fernando, and they've got 6 seconds to fight without him, and now 12 seconds without their Damba, and now 11 seconds without their Ruckus, and now no seconds before they're in the finals. Elevate, and they go to the Console Wars Championship.
Everything that they've worked for coming here and almost not even making it out of the PCL. A very close last week for them, and now they get to walk forward. It was an incredibly close set for them, but that map was all they needed. A clean 4-0, and unfortunately for Flashpoint, that means they are done and out.
You like that call? I mixed in the Drake song just for Alex there. It was good. All right, we're gonna send it back to the desk. What an incredible performance. Everything has gone the distance here, and I couldn't be happier again. Thank you so much for watching. I mean, PS4 really showed up big. We do still have one more set coming up, so don't go anywhere, but congratulations. It will be Elevate and Vexed in your Console Wars finals tomorrow. Do not miss it. Send it back to the guys on the desk.
GG's in the chat, ladies and gentlemen, and congratulations to Elevate. Some Space Whales as well, if you want to. Yes, what a game that was. But to close it out the way they did, very well done from Elevate. They're going to go on to face off against Vex. So not only do we have the Xbox versus PlayStation finals, but we also have an EU NA battle as well. You got to love that little regional rivalry, baby. That's what it's all about, Kresnik. You know about it.
So are you going to root for your favorite controller or where you're from?
Well, that's a tough one.
I know.
I didn't realize that. Oh, man. Well, you know what? The good news is I'm the host, so I could do whatever I want.
Oh, you could just throw it on us.
I could do whatever I want. Not only am I going to throw it on you guys for the predictions and for the bias and for whatever, but I'm going to say I just want both teams to play very well and succeed on different levels.
He gets the cop-out privilege.
I get the cop-out privilege, baby, because I'm in the host chair. That hurt. Okay, so... guys,
they made this new desk.
Yeah, I know, right? This new desk that like you kind of want to scratch, but you don't. Let's talk about this game here. What happened? Because Flashpoint just seemingly crumbled toward the end there. Kresnik, what did you see?
They ended it in the early game, and that's what they wanted. They wanted to end it before the Wrecker was online. Picking Barrick, it was a later pick, but it was a character that doesn't get messed with as much by Cauterize because he has the bowling ball and the resets on the dash. I don't know if he has a card missing in the loadout that I can't see there, but I'm going to assume it's the reset because that's just insanely good. Being able to constantly get the dashes, get more shielding before the Wrecker's online, that's going to be really hard to burn through, and that sustain was just too much, even with the built-in death and taxes from the Leon.
What a conclusion to this one. Both of you had Flashpoint winning this game based on the draft. Blue, what went wrong for Flashpoint?
One thing.
One thing.
They let Elevate win it too fast. Elevate had, both teams had good comps.
Makes sense.
Both teams had 2 comps. I liked Flashpoints, but if you look at Elevate's, theirs was an early game composition. If they don't win in the first round, or the first 2 rounds, maybe 3, they're going to lose the game because those Wreckers are going to come online, those Cauterizes are going to come online, and Flashpoint had the better Cauterized champs that can also do the Wrecker.
So you're banking on ending this game early. You're betting on
as
this
Elevate,
one, which
yes.
is very risky to do. Very risky to do. Why did they do that?
they're NA and they're Xbox. When it seriously, when it really comes down to it, when Xbox first transferred over, they were getting smacked by PS4 teams, even though PS4 was getting smacked at LAN. The reason is because Xbox was so used to this dive comp. You look at Wonderful yesterday. Wonderful is the perfect example of someone who can dive and just dominate. But then when he plays Leanne in the back line, he's not used to that.
That's when things go wrong.
Xbox said, or these Xbox players playing with PS4 controllers, they said basically, yo, there's one game left. Pick everything we know where we win early game. I don't care about their records. I don't care about their cauterizes because it's not going to go that late into the game. Push into them and don't miss your shots.
Yeah, and that was a very quick game there. So the strategy paid off. It was a bold move, but they did manage to pull it off, get the victory. They're moving on to face off against Vex. Blue, I want to get your insights on this one. This is potential upset territory. Both teams, right? You had Flashpoint, which I think a lot of players, even Vex said, these are the guys that they wanted to face off against in the finals. They're very used to them. They're familiar with them, but also they know them very well. They're not going to have that comfort anymore. They're going to be going up against a North American squad on PlayStation that is really throwing the kitchen sink at them. And Vex upsetting Onslaught the way they did 3-0. This is going to be a really good matchup. What are your thoughts?
First of all, before we do that, I really like that Khanrad combo. I've never seen that, and that was just, he's flying and then you just see a storm of bullets. He's shooting fast and now he's running fast.
Speaking the whole triple tank composition in was so good.
It was pretty scary. But going into tomorrow, I don't know what to expect anymore. I mean, with Flashpoint and Onslaught, you can kind of expect what they're going to do. Elevate, the whole team is basically flexed, so any of them can play anything. And then you have Vex, who's never been this far, and they're playing together better than any other team here, teamwork-wise.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. This is really good.
It's uncharted territory. Kresnik, I want to get your final thoughts here before we wrap up for the day. Thoughts on the PlayStation 4 finals, catching the matches. What you think, bud?
About watching console?
Yeah,
I watched it yesterday.
Yeah.
I will say, I think the teams today played better. I think there were some times when I was watching the games yesterday where, like, they would go to Grover. I remember one specific point, someone Grover ulted across the whole map from their team while under no pressure, like, oh, I'll save you. Like, they were trying to throw it at them. I was like, in the chairs. But today's games were today's games were much better. I enjoyed watching them a lot.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting, the Console Wars finals, but don't worry, because coming up, after all the fluff, all the other stuff, we have the NACE College Finals. That's going to be very exciting. For now, though, we're actually going to go to the back, speak with Elevate about their win. It was a war. Let's get their thoughts.